I'm Amelie and welcome once again to my channel. Today I'm going to be watching nothing. I'm not going to be watching anything. I'm so used to saying that it just comes out like that. I'm not going to be watching anything. I'm actually going to be ranking every character from the show Word of Honor. And yes, it's not actually every character because this show has like 800 characters at the very least. So I'm ranking a lot of them, a whole bunch, more than you can see now on the screen. There are several, lines of characters under that one. I think, if I'm not mistaken in the number, I am going to be ranking 55 of the characters from Word of Honor. And I know for a fact that it's not absolutely all of them. But I try to include characters that I knew who they were. Like, I could say something about them, because there's a lot of characters like, who is that? When did that person appear? What they were doing? Like, I try to include characters that actually, had a role in the show, or at least a role that I remember. So, but I know for a fact that it's not absolutely every character, but it's plenty. And first of all, before I start talking about the literal nightmare that was making this tier list, let me talk about the elephant in the room. And for the people who have been watching my other reactions, you already know what I'm going to say. The quality of this audio may be worse than usual, or you may hear some kind of background noise. The reason for this is that there is a heat wave here in Argentina, and I basically have to live with a fan next to me, just throwing air, because otherwise I don't think I'll survive it. My air conditioning is broken, and I am very literally melting. Like, I'm just not built to survive this kind of heat. Or at least not now. As I said I think it was one of the videos from this week, Argentina gets pretty hot during the summer. We get like more than 40 degrees temperatures in the summer, like 40, 45 degrees. It gets very hot, but that is in the summer, not in the spring. We're in the spring. These temperatures, fucking climate change. It is what it is. We're going to have to tolerate the fan for now, for as long as I don't get my air conditioning fixed. So we'll just have to live with it. Hopefully it's not too bad. So about this list, I was going to be doing this video ages ago, literally weeks ago. The reason why it took me so long is because it was so fucking hard to find pictures of these people. Not all of them. Obviously, if you look for Wenger Sheen, you're going to find, 3,000 pictures of Wenger Sheen. The same from Shuo, or, the main characters. Like, even characters that are a little bit smaller, usually you got at least one picture or two pictures, but there were some characters that absolutely didn't exist. Like, you look them up in Google and it was, no, who is that? Like, and I tried several combinations, because obviously some of these names are translated. So I tried like different translators. I tried looking Word of Honor and the name. Nothing. There's like 60% of these characters I couldn't find pictures. And sometimes when I could find a picture, it was just not good. So what I had to do was go back to the show and take screenshots of each character that I wanted to use. Not for all of them, but for most of them, that's what I had to do. And then I had to cut the picture. It was a literal nightmare. I was actually considering posting this video tomorrow on Halloween just because of that, just because of what a nightmare it was to get this tier list done. Just because of that, I'm going to put the link to this tier list. So if anybody wants to use it, go ahead. Maybe there are other Word of Honor tier lists available. I don't know if there are one that has these many characters, but I don't know if you're interested in doing your own ranking just for your own amusement or for any other reason, then here you have it. Here you have my list. Go ahead, use it, enjoy it. Enjoy the beautiful pictures that took me weeks to collect. Obviously, it was weeks, and I was doing it in between working, so it's not like I think that if I had like a free day, probably I would have done it in only one day, but honestly, it felt like I was never ending this freaking thing. I also think that this video is going to be long. I can feel it in my bones. Like, I know that the Untamed video that I did for the character ranking was like more than 2 hours, almost 3. And this one has 55 characters. I don't remember how many characters the Untamed, but I would say that for the Untamed, there were more characters that I had more to say. I feel like in Word of Honor, there are a group of characters that I have a lot to say, and a group of characters that are just, yeah, that guy. So I don't think it's going to be as long as that. I think definitely over an hour. But I don't think we are going to get, to the 2 hour plus mark, hopefully. But I'll guess we'll just have to start and see. So let's just do it. Let's just start with the first character. In case you were doubting it, I actually have a list here with me, because a lot of these characters I actually don't remember their names. I do remember who they are. Like, I do remember what they were doing in the show. But I don't remember their names. A lot of them I find out their names when I was looking for this list. And just in case you're wondering, I haven't rewatched, Word of Honor yet. I was just waiting to do this list so I could do it. But I guess after this, I'm free. And, somebody sent me the link to the place where I could find my next video for Word of Honor. I want to do a reaction for the concert because everybody's talking about it. Everybody says that is really fun. So I think I'm going to be doing that probably next weekend, but we'll see. Somebody sent me the links, or at least the link where I can get the material. So, that's probably what's going to happen. Probably next week. We'll see. But there's going to be a few more videos about Word of Honor because I feel like I've been doing a lot more videos on the Untamed, but it's just because it's easier, because the videos of the Untamed took me freaking weeks to find pictures. Oh, I'm so mad about it. I understand if some of these characters didn't have like one single picture in Google, but some of them, like, they were relatively big characters in the show. So I don't know what's happening. Okay, so let's start with the first character, whose name is, let me read it, Shaolian. I have to admit that the first time I saw this character, I had no idea who it was. And then I remember that he's a character that dies in the first few episodes, and I don't think I have any opinion of him. I'm sorry it had to be the first, but I put them in alphabetical order, so bad luck. But he's there. The only thing that I remember is that Shen was having a discussion with him. Well, not a discussion. He was having a fight. And, what was the fight about? Something about some children that were with this guy, that the children wanted to stay with him, and Shen said that they had to go with him or something like that. And what I remember the most is Shen changing his tune, in a second. Oh, well, good luck then. Go ahead. So, I don't know. It was my first introduction to Shen. Well, no, I saw Shen before. But that was, I don't know. I found it funny. But this guy, I guess he dies. So let's put it in who. I have no idea who you are. Sorry, sir. Didn't he have a strip row? I think I remember him being in a tree, and me remarking that he had a very interesting robe. That is all I can say about this guy. I'm so sorry. Let's go to the next one. That's what I mean, that there are some characters. I could have taken them out, but then where would I stop? I would probably left with 20 characters. But no, we are doing this. I am committed. I look for these pictures. Now I'm going to talk about them. The next character is Feng, who at the beginning I thought he was So Shushu's uncle, but it turns out that this is more like a martial uncle rather than an actual uncle. I don't think they are related. And poor Feng, yes, I have to look at the name every time, because that is, I remember him as Uncle B, and that's it. That's how I'm going to call him. The poor guy, I think he was our first introduction to the nails, in the story, like what the nails were and what happened to somebody who took them, but he took them all together. So that was ballsy. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry he died. He seemed like a good dude. So I'm going to put him okay, I guess. We didn't knew him, and you didn't knew him enough. I wish we could find out a little bit more about him. But that's life, I guess. There is not more that I can say about this poor old guy. The next one is, I believe, his son, Bi Xingming. For this guy, what we do know is that he rescued Shuo when he was captured by Prince Jinn, and so a pretty good dude, I would say. I think he was, at the time, he was also part of this Window of Heaven organization. So, but he was more loyal to Shuo and apparently also to, Four Seasons Manor, which I think also Uncle B was part of. I think these are at least Uncle B is like from the last people that he actually brought from Four Seasons Manor, and I think this is his son. So it makes sense that he was more loyal to Shuo than the actual Window of Heaven, and he was part of the rescue mission for that. And I'm guessing after that, after the ending, he continued, like he went back to Four Seasons Manor, maybe with Chengling or something like that. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know what happened to the guy. But yeah, he seemed pretty cool. There was another one with him. I couldn't remember his name. I couldn't remember what he looked like, but you can assume that they're going, if he was here, if his friend was there, I'll put them in the same place. I'll put them in okay, I guess, because they were small characters. I guess they were important characters because of what they represented. At least, I think Uncle B represented, or at least shown us, the viewers, what are the consequences of leaving, the Window of Heaven. And, I think it made a lot more real the danger of this organization. And, I think in that sense that he was very useful to the plot, although he had a very small role. And at the same time, I think his son, Bi Xingming, was also important in the sense that was a very low point for Shuo after, being captured and being tortured and all of that. And suddenly Wenger Sheen appears with all these group of disciples that are going to be part of the Four Seasons Manor. And I think that is something that definitely makes Shuo's outlook in life a lot better. And I don't know, I think in a way it was very positive for him to know that Four Seasons Manor was going to continue, not only with Chengling, who was already there, but with all these people who are still loyal to him. And also, I feel like putting the nails on Uncle B must have been very difficult, because obviously someone that it seems like had been with him for a very long time. So I feel like by having his son with him, and now as a disciple to Four Seasons Manor, as a sort of moment of redemption, in a way. I don't know. I think some characters are important not because necessarily what happens to them, or, well, it is what happens to them, but most of all for what they represent for the story. And I think this is a good example of those type of characters, that they were very small characters because we didn't see them a lot, but definitely I think they have a very big impact in how we saw the show and in what effect they have for the characters. So the next character is the Black Grim Reaper, which I don't know if he has a different name. I guess maybe he does, but who knows? What I remember the most about this guy is that he sounds like he has been smoking since the age of 3. Like, that is a deep voice. That is a very deep voice. And I don't feel like it goes with his face. I don't know why. I feel like it sounds strange. But, well, I don't know. I think it has been a while since I've listened to, well, I guess when I took this, picture, I listened to it again. It is deep. It is a deep voice. And I think people who have watched the show with me know that I'm very soft spot for most of the ghosts, not all of them, most of the ghosts. And I think he's one of them. I think I'll put him in Beloved Gremlins. I guess I never explained the tiers, although I think they're pretty self-explanatory. I mean, obviously, we have the characters that I love the most, again, I feel like there's going to be a lot of characters that we know are going to go there. Like, that's not going to be a surprise. My second tier is Beloved Gremlins. Those are the characters that I really like. Like, they're not on the top, but they're characters that I enjoy, and, I like them. Okay, I guess, I'm going to put a lot of characters in okay, I guess, I think, not only because of how much I do like them, but also because of how little we know them. So I think that may happen, but they're fine. Who I think this is going to be a very popular category, because a lot of characters is just like, who the fuck is that? I think if you counted, like, the words, how many times I asked who that person is when I was reacting to the show, I think I said it at least like a good 4 or 5 times each episode. So, it had to be a category. It's not like I'll be honest. In the case of Lao Si, I know what happened to him in the episode, but I still have no idea, where he come from, what sect was he from, why was he there. I know that they were being chased, but who are they? I don't know. So, though, that is the tier that I'm going to dedicate to those characters. Nice characters that, they're a little bit shifty, a little bit, I'm not convinced about. Then we have, just that. Just characters that made me go, that. And the final, unacceptable. Again, I don't think these things through beforehand. I don't think, where I'm going to put each character. I just do it in the moment, what I feel in the moment. But with these ones, I'm pretty sure at least one person that's going to in those categories. So that one is not going to be a surprise. So Black Ring Reaper, he's there, just looking mournful as ever, and his deep voice. But I like him. I like all of it. Most of the ghosts I really like. So I stand by my decision of putting him there. The next character, we have one of the big ones, Cao Wenin. I love Cao Wenin. I love him. You know where I'm going to put him. It's going to be straight to the top. There we go. He's such a sweet character. It's definitely a strange character if you consider the type of, other characters that he's surrounded, like murderers and assassins and just, I don't know, people who are not generally great. But he's so, naive and so innocent and so sweet. I just love him. He's so committed to doing the right thing. It's like he never wavers from that. It's like he's so certain in his own beliefs, even when those beliefs go against things that he may have learned or things that, he may have grown up with, like when he went against his sect to defend Gushian and to live with Gushian. It's like he was so certain in his own beliefs that I love him. And I think he probably had one of the cruelest deaths that I ever seen in anything. I'm not even considering only this show. I'm not even considering other Chinese shows. I'm considering everything that I ever seen. That was one of the cruelest things that I ever seen. That death fucked me up. Like, I would say it was so surprising. The fact it came from somebody that he truly trusted and he loved. The fact that it was like a sort of trick that, like he was going to, I don't know, like he was going to forgive him and then crack. The fact that it was somebody breaking a neck, who, because, I have a thing about necks being broken. Like, I just can't stand it. That noise, it makes me want to throw up. This scene absolutely fucked me up. It literally took me so long to recover from this death. Like, I don't think I could, after it happened, I don't think I could enjoy anything else in this show. Like, I like the ending, well, I like the post ending, a lot, but I feel like after that, I couldn't enjoy anything else in this show. And I think it's strange because I haven't rewatched the show yet, but I feel like it's the kind of death that also affects you, like, retroactively. Like, if I rewatch the show, the first thing that I'm going to think about Xiao Wenin is the way that he died. Like, oh no, no. I think I didn't, like, I know I know it happened also in the book, so it had to happen, I guess, but it really fucked me up. I would say that although I find their death, like, equally sad and equally, devastating, I find his death a lot worse than Gushian, just because at least Gushian went down fighting, but he was just there and suddenly he was, and I was like, what? No, I thinking about it and I'm getting teared up. So, thank you, Word of Honor. You have fucked me up. Well done. I don't think I have suffered as much watching anything, and I have suffered quite a bit watching other Chinese shows and watching other shows in general, watching other movies, but that moment literally, it gave me trust issues. I'm not going to trust anything ever again after that death. Like, I was so, like, I knew that something was going to happen. Like, I suspected he was, I knew that guy was going to be there to betray them. But honestly, that moment when he killed, it was like, no. I remember it and I suffer. That's how bad I suffer with his death. So, Cao Wenin, I love you, but you have destroyed me. Word of the Honor, writers, producers, everybody, fuck yourself. You destroy me. Okay, let's move to the next character. That is another character that I happen to enjoy a lot, and it's the Changing Ghost. I know it has several names. I think I also seen it, like, not only, obviously has a Chinese name, but also I've seen it as Impermanence Ghost. And let me tell you the thing that I find the most shocking about this ghost. I have seen pictures of the actor. He's so good looking that the actor for this guy, he's really good looking. Like, I don't know why I sound so surprised. I'm looking at him now, and obviously he's not bad looking, but I don't know. You see him out of, just like, Photoshop pictures and things like that. My God, they did a job for him in this show. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the lipstick, the style. I don't know, but definitely he looks different. Let's just put it like that. But let me tell you something. I love Changing Ghosts. I'm not going to put it at the top because, he wasn't a great guy, but I'm going to put him right there next to his friend, Black Green Reaper. I enjoy this character very much. I don't know if it was just because he was, just generally just a bitch. I love him. The lipstick, the drama, everything. I just love it. Another moment that I love with the ghost is that moment where they have to, it's one of the last few episodes when there is the confrontation between Xiao and Wenger Sheen, and they call the ghost to see if they recognize Wenger Sheen, and the fact that he actually makes the effort to look closer, and it's like, let me see. No, we have never seen this guy. It's like, I love them. I love them. And I feel like with these ghosts, obviously, I don't feel like we ever, like, we know that they did bad things because they are in the Ghost Valley. We know that they were, just backstabbing bitches because they were continuously changing sides. Like, I never knew what side they were on at any point. I was so confused. But first, I don't think we ever actually saw them do anything, like, terrible in comparison to what we saw some of the other characters do. Like, the worst they were doing is just, like, talking behind Wenger Sheen's back and betraying him. And that's pretty much it. I guess they did bad things, obviously, but I don't know. I think it helps that we never saw it. But also, I feel like the ghosts in the show have so much style, and I don't know. I'm just really into them. I'm just really into the whole vibe of the ghosts, and I like them. And also, especially with changing ghosts, and I think the same is for, maybe Black Grim Reaper, is that we never actually find out why they're in the Ghost Valley, because there are some of the other characters that, for example, the one that comes next, which is the corpse-eating ghost, which already the name is not great. It's just not great. But with changing ghosts and Black Grim Reaper, it's like, you don't know what happened. Like, why are they there? We don't know. Maybe they enjoy wearing those clothes. Maybe they have fun. And also, one of the things is, like, they complain that they can't leave the Ghost Valley, but have they considered maybe not wearing what they are wearing, like wearing normal clothes and just leave? I don't think anybody would recognize. I know for a fact that we wouldn't recognize, like, the guy who plays Changing Ghosts. I'm going to put a picture somehow, somewhere, so you don't think I'm crazy. But, definitely he would have no problem leaving the Ghost Valley, just dress as a civilian and never be seen again. I think, I think they just like the drama, I think. I don't know. There are characters that I enjoyed a lot. In general, the ghosts, not all of them, some of the ghosts I didn't like that much. I think we'll get to them. But this, at least I would say that of all the ghosts, like, let's say all of the bad ghosts or the ghosts that were against Wenger Sheen, I would say Changing Ghost is my favorite, and I stand behind my decision. He's on top. And I think I already said this no, I didn't say it, but I put it on Tumblr, I think. He looks exactly like in Friends when Joey went to Japan to promote a lipstick. He looks exactly like that. He looked like he was paid to put that on. It looks great on him. It matches his clothing. That is an effort. That is sort of metallic. It's not like a regular lipstick. I admire him. I admire Changing Ghosts. I'm sorry we didn't see more of him. I'm sorry he's probably dead. I mean, I think in the show, he ends like in the water prison and he ends, left there, but then the Ghost Valley stuck and I guess all of the ghosts are dead now, so I don't know what happened to them. I'm guessing they're still in the water prison. I don't know. But you know what? I like his style. The next one that we have is the corpse-eating ghost. I think in some translations, or at least in some subtitles, I think he's also called like Ghoul or something like that. And this is not a ghost that I was particularly fond of, but what I would like to highlight about this character is that he was always loyal to Wenger Sheen for some reason. Like, he was never included. I have the feeling that he didn't have a good relationship with the other ghosts. I feel like the Black Grim Reaper, Changing Ghost, Laughing Ghost, and Lovelace, they have like their own clique, and that, the corpse-eating ghost, he wasn't invited. And for some reason, he was loyal to Wenger Sheen. He actually, when Ghost Valley not with the Ghost Valley, when the Department of the Unfaithful was attacked, he actually helped save a lot of the girls. So he's not, I mean, he eats corpses, but I guess he's not all that bad, so I'm going to put it in okay, I guess. I'm not crazy about the guy, but, credit where credit's due. When everybody was betraying Wenger Sheen, he said, no, I'm going to stay loyal. And good for him. Again, I think he dies in the end, like, I think 90% of these characters. But, you know what? He tried. Okay, so the next character is Dawu. And what I can say about these characters that I feel like we didn't see them enough. Like, I know they have their own novel, like, or not him. Like, I think there is another novel that I don't remember the name, but I think is Lord 7. I think that is the name of the novel because I remember making a list because I wanted to read it. And I think the main character is Jinn Beichuan, and obviously he's also there. And I feel like we were, shown a little bit, but it wasn't enough. I wanted to know so much more about these two characters. So I really love them, especially Dawu. I really love both of them. I'm going to put him below Gremlin. And I don't put it higher because, we didn't know a lot about them, but I really enjoy them. I really enjoy them. Every time that they were on screen, it was a joy to look at because they were very good looking, but also, I don't know, they seem very, interesting. So I really have to read the novel. I was told that because I asked somebody what was the possibility of having like, like the sequel done, like for them to do the sequel. Well, not the sequel because it happens before Word of Honor, but doing like having an adaptation for Lord Sevens. And I think with how things are going with China now and BL adaptations, even then I don't think it's possible. But they told me that it would be practically impossible for us to get an adaptation for that book because it deals with reincarnation, which is a little bit of a taboo subject for, Chinese media. So I don't think we are ever going to get it. So this is probably all we are going to get from these guys. And I'm so sorry about that because I really enjoy them. My favorite moment of Dawu, when everybody was waiting outside to see what was happening with Shou Sushu, to see whether he survived or not. No, survived. He survived. To whether he could, heal the nails. And he just left the room with the blankest face that I ever seen. He waits like a good 30 seconds and then he nods. That is a power move. That is such a power move. What a guy. I admire him. I wish I could have that sort of control over people. Like, amazing. Love him. Okay, the next character is, wait, because I haven't, here. Deng Quang. The next character is Deng Quang. He was originally, Gauchon's disciple. And I think that originally he was the one who was engaged to Gao Shaolian. No, wait, what is her name? Oh yes, Gao Shaolian. Every time, I think I forgot her name all the time when I was watching the show. He was originally engaged to her, and then Chen Ling came, and then Gauchon told her that she was going to marry Chen Ling, and all that mess. Which no, but this guy didn't. He appeared a few times. I feel like he was definitely more like a background character. In the sense that every time that he appeared, I have no idea who he was. Like, the moment he appeared in the Heroes Conference, it was like, who is that? What is happening? And every time, and even at the very end of the show, like the show ended and I saw like episode, like mini episode 37, and he appeared, I didn't recognize him. I had to be told who he was because they put a mustache on him and that's it for me. Like a complete different person. Already I have difficulty knowing who he was, like with his regular face. Like you put a mustache on him, that is, just, I'm not going to recognize him. But, I guess he had a happy ending. He he married the girl that he loved, I assume, and he had a child, and he was visiting Wenger Sheen and Shuo. So pretty nice. He had a rough time, but it's nice to see that he recovered, because when I think in the main part of the show, like not counting like the epilogue, in the main part of the show, the last time we saw him was when, at the second Heroes Conference, and he wasn't doing great. Like, he was doing a lot better, but he wasn't doing great. So he was still recovering. So it's nice to see that he ended up recovering. So I don't know. He's nice. I'm going to put it in okay, I guess, because honestly, didn't remember most of the things. Like, again, he's a character that popped at different parts of the show, but sometimes there are so many characters popping up all over the show that it's difficult to keep track. But yeah, he's okay. It was nice. It was nice that he had a happy ending, because not a lot of people did in this show. The next character, it's Dupusa. I don't think that is how you pronounce her. And I have to say that, like, at the first time that I saw her, I was, yeah, that looks like a badass. And I like badass women. But then she had that moment, like, they were torturing Chengling, and her method of torture was a little bit creepy, considering Chengling is 14. So that creeped me out a lot. But then, I don't know, I enjoy her character. She had the most perfect makeup in the whole show. And that is including when Wenger Sheen get his little red eye makeup of evil. I think her makeup is even better than that. She has such a good makeup. And she was fun. She didn't give a shit. I enjoy characters that, not, was she evil? I don't think she was necessarily evil. I think she looked after herself. And she did what she had to do. She was definitely an interesting character. I really like her relationship with Scorpion. They seemed like they're pretty tight. They were friends. And I also find her relationship with Beauty Ghost a little bit interesting. But I don't know. She wasn't like a nice character, but I think she was an interesting one, and definitely a badass one. So I can appreciate that. But I'm still going to put her in thin ice. Because, look, she did some things. But I enjoy her. I enjoy her character a lot. So, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable putting him even in okay, I guess. But I like her. Now I'm doubting myself. Should I put in okay, I guess? No, I'll leave her thin ice, because there's no one there. She could be the first one there. And also, no, I don't know. No, this is, should I actually start deciding things with time instead of deciding things in the moment? I'm going to leave her a thin ice. That's my last decisions. She did some things. And one of the moments, like when they were doing like a siege, in, Sawenin's, or what was left of Sawenin, sect, like they were all in a cave, and she was doing like some roasted meat because they didn't have anything to eat. Like, that was a decision. That was something to do. Still, I enjoy her. Again, it's not that sort of villain that, yes, they're villains, yes, they kill people, but I can still enjoy, because I don't find them particularly, like, some types of murders are just disturbing. Like, I just can't get over it. Like, yes, you could say that you're just killing the person, so it's the same thing, but there are some methods, there are some situations that, to me, are worse than others. In her case, I have the feeling that, it was her job, and she did it, and she also happened to like her job a lot, I guess. But, I don't know. I wouldn't see her as, I don't see her as, a worse villain, if you know what I mean. Because I had fun with her, but, honestly, I didn't see her killing anybody that I particularly, oh wait, did she kill anybody that I particularly care? I don't remember. now, so I'm going to put them, I feel justified in putting her there because maybe she killed somebody that I care about and I don't remember. But I don't know, I had fun watching her. The next one is Dwang Peng, who is a literal piece of shit. Already, like, from this picture that I got, is from the first episode where they were putting the nails on Uncle B, and he was looking with this expression. Look at this expression. That is the expression of a piece of shit. He's actually enjoying this. He's actually she's actually enjoying killing an old man. What a piece of shit. Like, I'm not going to put him at the bottom, but I'm going to put him, because that was my reactions. Also, all of the scenes that, she had with Dupusa, sweetie, I'm so sorry you have to go through that. Like, you didn't deserve having to seduce that piece of shit. You could do so much better. And that is something that I could say pretty much of, I don't know all of the characters, but many of the female characters in this show. Specifically beauty girls. Girls, you could do so much better. But he really was a piece of shit. I didn't like him. That is all I can say about this guy. He's just unpleasant, and he really hated Shu. I think maybe because maybe he envied him or something like that. But he got a lot of enjoyment out of torturing him, out of, seeing all people being tortured. I don't know. I'm not crazy on the guy. So he's there. He's a piece of shit. So, ugh. And I think that's probably the sound that I made every time he came on the screen. So I feel that this is very appropriate. Okay, so the next one is someone that I'm going to call Uncle Fan, although his name is Fan Huai Kong. But I think we know him as Uncle Fan. And I have to say, I really like him. Like, I was so sad when he rejected Cao Wenin for Gushian, but I feel, and maybe I'm wrong, like, there's no way to say one or the other because of what happened, like, we will never know, but I have the feeling that, even if they hadn't died, like, if anything hadn't happened, like, they would get married, I think eventually he would have come around. Like, he would have actually forgiven Cao Wenin and all of that, and he actually would come to, maybe reestablish a relationship with him, because he really seemed like a nice guy. I feel like most of the things that I like, most of the not actions, but most of the aspects that I didn't like about him was because he was follow, like, the sect leader, and, maybe he was, not lied, but I feel like he trusted the sect leader where he shouldn't have. And for what I know, I think it's in one of the last episodes, if not the last episode, that we find out that piece of shit actually also killed him, Uncle Fan. And that is like, thank God they didn't show that. Like, that episode was already, like, the last two episodes were already rough, but I didn't like that at all, because I actually quite like him. I'm going to put him up here. He seemed fine, not fine. He actually seemed to care a lot about Cao Wenin, and to a point, I think he came to care for Gushian during that time as well. I don't know, he seemed like a pretty decent guy, which I think, to me, was the most suspicious thing about when Cao Wenin's sect leader came to Ghost Valley when he was for his marriage, and he came alone. Like, why didn't he brought the others? Like, at that moment, like, I already didn't trust the guy, but the fact that he hadn't brought, like, Uncle Fan or the other disciple whose name is, I'll tell you, Mo Wei Shu, the fact that those two weren't with him, who were people who were very close to Cao Wenin in his sect and really, cared for him, that was, to me, the first sign that something was wrong, that guy was not up to no good. Obviously, I didn't realize the extent to what he was not good, but I don't want to think about it. Uncle Fan, he was alright in my books. I like him. I wish things had gone better for him. So the next two characters, yes, I put them together because I don't know. I don't have anything to say about I don't have that much to say about them, but they were mostly together. I don't think I've ever seen them apart. So they are called Feng Feng, and who is the little one, and Gao Shaolian, who is the guy who carries him. And I put them here just so I can say, I don't like these guys. They were always looking for trouble. They were always looking for excuses to fight. They really wanted the glaze armor for some reason, because I wouldn't have given the glaze armor to these guys, in no scenario. They were also, if I'm not mistaken, they were pretty present when the 4 sages of Anji were killed. And that is probably my most negative image of them. So I definitely don't like them. Like, they're not obviously the main villains under any circumstance, and you could even say that maybe they did have a point in saying that maybe the glaze armor is something that should be shared. Like, why only one sect should have what's in the glaze armor when everything that was in the glaze armor was things that were taken from a lot of sects, which they have a point, but there's ways and ways to go about it, and definitely those were the wrong ways. He was, he wasn't a great guy. So I'm talking specifically of Feng Feng, but I don't think we knew a lot about poor Gao Shaolian, or at least not that I remember. But anyway, that's where I'm putting it. Especially, it was like, he had a way of talking that was so annoying too. So definitely, they were just confrontational. They were always up to a fight. I don't know. I didn't like them. And then the next characters that I have, yes, that is the only picture of the 4 sages of Anji that I could get, together, because they're from the show. The other moment in which they are all together is when they die, and after they are dead. And I wasn't going to put a picture, no. So that picture of a boat is the only one where we get 4 of them together. For some reason, they didn't conveniently stand one next to each other just so I can get a screenshot of it. No. They were in a boat that was huge, and some of them were in one side, there is another one doing some sword things in the other, and I couldn't get a better picture. So that's what we have. And I'm not going to put them separately because I don't even know their names. I don't even know, I wouldn't recognize them. So nothing. I'll put them together, and I don't know. I like the sages of Anji. I like several things about them. I like, the life that they've chosen for themselves. I think it's the first introduction that we get to the concept of soulmate. Although I think by that point, Wenger Sheen had already said that he considers Shuo his soulmate. But I think this is the point where we actually get explained that, maybe soulmates can also be platonic, that are not necessarily romantic. And especially this type of, this type of ideal of leaving everything behind with your soulmate and just fuck off. Just fuck everything off. I'm leaving. And this for all people, just living in peace together, being happy. I feel like it represented an ideal for Shuo and Wenger Sheen. And I think when I was thinking about the ending of the show, I kept getting back to them looking at the 4 sages of Anji. And this idea that, at the end of the day, I don't think I would have chosen that ending for Shuo and Wenger Sheen. Obviously, my ideal ending would be them in 4 seasons with Chengling and obviously with Gushian and everybody else. But at least, obviously she died, so that wasn't going to happen, but I would have liked for them to go back to Four Seasons Manor and, they have new disciples and all of that. That would have been my ideal ending. But I saw a lot of people saying that it was actually a bad ending for them because, in the end they were isolated and, they weren't able to travel, which is what they like. But I feel like this moment with the Sages of Anji is the moment that I was thinking about, because the Sages of Anji, they also live like pretty isolated. They live in a forest and they did their own thing there. And obviously they could leave, but, maybe they shouldn't have. I don't know. I was making that connection and thinking that maybe for them it wouldn't be so bad to be there in the mountain as long as they are together. And as long as they left everything behind that hurt them, and that, I feel like both Sou Shu and Wenger Sheen went through a lot, and I feel like in a way them being up the mountain is leaving all of that behind. Not only what they did, but also what happened to them, like what happened with Gushian, what happened with everything. For them, living up the mountain and staying there together is a little bit like leaving everything that hurt them behind and, just be there in peace. So I don't think it's a bad ending. I think we know that it's an ending that they wouldn't mind, because they were admiring the Four Sages of Anji, and they, considering that what they did was pretty great. So I don't know. I feel like in that sense, it's like corroboration that although it wasn't my ideal ending, I feel like it wasn't that bad. I liked it. But I know a lot of people hated it for some reason. Well, not for some reason. I can understand why. But the Four Sages of Anji, I guess I never put them in a category. I guess I just started talking about the ending for no reason. I'm going to put them in okay, I guess, just because we didn't get to see them much. But they were pretty good. They were pretty great. Poor guys. They didn't deserve what happened to him. Another aspect of what I like about the Sages of Anji, well, it's going to sound strange because what I like about it is what happened to them, is that their death allow us to see that, Wenger Sheen wasn't somebody who just... Oh, how can I explain this? I think what's shown is that Wenger Sheen actually give a shit. It's not just that he kills and have fun and that's it. I think that the death of the Sages of Anji forced him to face a reality, and that fact that how he reacted when he faced it, right after that happened, it was when he decided to, with his plan of going completely crazy, going completely overboard. But I think there was still something inside of him that had a conscience, and he, faced with that sort of situation, he wasn't happy. And I think that shows that he never was just a completely, a murderer without a conscience. So I find that in that sense, it was also interesting. I feel like because of his, the type of upbringing that he had, Wenger Sheen couldn't afford to show mercy or to show weakness, and he constructed for himself a certain personality and a certain mask that he wore. But I feel like at that moment, maybe the mask, left a little bit, and maybe we could see that deep down he wasn't truly that he, he was still, a person who could feel sorry for other people, and especially when he was responsible indirectly for his death, because there was a lot of other people responsible for the deaths of the Sages of Anji, not only Wenger Sheen, but oh well, that is life. So that was, I feel like for a moment that I was supposed to talk about the Sages of Anji, I ended up talking a lot more about other things. But again, I think this is the same as with Uncle B and his son. Some characters' stories are, just trigger other things in the story, or are important in the sense of, what they bring to the story and, how other characters react and how other characters deal with that. So I enjoy those characters as well. The next character, we have Gauchon. I don't mind Gauchon. A lot of people don't like him. I mean, I feel like the problem with Gauchon at the beginning is that I pretty much suspected that he was up to something. Like, I knew this guy, there's something going on. And it turns out there was nothing going on, that he was like, no. I mean, obviously he did have some plans behind the scenes. He made a lot of mistakes, but I feel like deep down he was doing what he thought was right. I don't feel like let me put it this way. When he said that he didn't want the glazed armor to get to get power for himself, I believe him. I think when you're surrounded with so many characters that you don't know who to trust, you see his character and said, maybe he has some other reasons. But I think in general, he was a pretty honest character, in the sense that what you see is what you get. So I feel, I felt sorry for him in the end, because I feel like he truly cared for Chengling, even though he definitely didn't know how to express it. I think he also cared for, her daughter. He cared for Shen Shen. For his other brother, Xiao. Did he care for Xiaoxing? I guess he did, but I think he cared for Shen Shen more, because he knew that Shen Shen was a little bit of an idiot, and if there was no one there with him, he was probably going to get into trouble, which, maybe he was right. But I like Gauchon. I feel like he didn't deserve what happened to him. He had a pretty terrible death too. I'm gonna put it in okay, I guess. I don't feel like he's at the level of my beloved Gremlin, but he was fine. He wasn't a bad person. He definitely had some, emotional constipation going on. He was a little bit rough sometimes. He was a little bit, too focused on the honor of the Five Lakes Alliance to see anything else. And I don't think he had I don't want to say the intelligence, because I don't think it's intelligence. I think his mind wasn't devious enough to realize what the other people's intentions were. I think maybe because he was so forthright, and because he was so, honest, that maybe he find difficulty in seeing when other people was being underhanded. I have the feeling. But yeah, there he is. I don't mind Gauchon that much. I felt sorry for him when he died, because I felt like ultimately he wasn't a bad guy. So, poor guy. Also, what I'm going to say about Gauchon, the guy who played him when he's young, like, I don't think he looks much like him, like in terms of his face, but he just nails the expression. I'm going to put a picture maybe somewhere so we can compare, but that expression, like, he nails it so well. Like, the moment I saw him, it was like, oh, that's Gauchon. That is definitely Gauchon. And I was right. That was Gauchon. So well done to the guy who played him when he's young. Well done. Good casting. Well, how did they find out that he could do that? I don't know. I also felt very sorry. Like, we have those moments when Gauchon was crying, in front of all of the epitaph for, all of his friends and all of his brothers that had died. And I don't know. If I believe something about Gauchon, is that he was really honorable. And he really wanted to do what's right. Whether he did it in the wrong way, yeah, pretty much. But, when you're faced with so many characters that are not that are not good, that are very devious, that are only there for their own, to get power for themselves, that are only there, and they don't give a shit, and they murder and kill. I find that Gauchon, is probably a breath of fresh air in the middle of all of this. So, and good for him. And I feel like the fact that he dies shows a little bit that maybe that type of person who takes everything at face value, that, is not maybe more underhanded and is not more devious, that type of people maybe cannot survive in a world like this, because it's always going to be somebody else that is going to, take advantage of that, and in the end, nothing would happen. So that is also a little bit sad for him. So the next character is Gao Shaolian, and I really like this girl. I think at the beginning it was like, not that I wasn't sure, but she was just there. Like, she didn't have a lot to do. But I like to see that in little moments you can see like her kindness and her understanding of the situation. Like, even though, she's not a more like an active character, because not until the end at least, but she's not an actor, a character that has a lot to do, that she doesn't have a lot of actions to perform. Like, she's there pretty much reacting at the beginning. You can still see that she shows a very good understanding of what's happening around her, and just how nice she is. She's so nice to Shengling. She's so nice to Gushian, which she didn't even know. And I have two moments that I absolutely love about her, that I think they probably encapsulated why I like her character so much, and especially because in this show there is a lot of very strong female characters that, they know how to fight, they know martial arts, and they achieve things, or not only by doing that, but, female characters that are shown to be very strong. And I think maybe when watching this show, you may fail to, or you may make the mistake of thinking that maybe she isn't as strong because she's a character that is mostly passive. But I think there are two moments that I absolutely love about her, and that they show how strong she actually is. I think the first moment is when after she was captured by, what are the names of these two? Tao Hong Po and Liu. I never know how to pronounce this name because it's an L and a V, and there is no vowel in the middle. So Liv Liu. I don't know, the couple that wears the matching outfits. That moment at the end when she asked Shen Shen not to kill them, and he asked him, when is the cycle of revenge going to end? And he was like, that went straight to my heart. Like, it was such a good moment for her. Like, she said, no, that this is enough. We are going to stop this. And I think it showed how strong she is, in that sense, because she could have said, yeah, kill them. They, obviously she wasn't going to do that because she perceived that those two, in a way, obviously they didn't help. Let me say, they didn't help. But I guess they weren't as bad as the other guys. So in that sense, they weren't willing to just give her up to a brothel. So they were a little less bad than those. But I don't know. She's such an empathetic and such a emotionally smart character that I just love her. I'm going to put her up there because she really is a character that, again, at the beginning, it's more like you don't realize that much as she's there, but she grew so much on me. I really love her. The other moment that I love is when she, she appears in the second Heroes Conference to ask the other people to help her, and she says, I am a weak woman, I can do anything, I don't know martial arts, so you will have to take revenge for me, I have to ask you to take revenge for me. And that took so much courage, because she knew that if that didn't work, she was dead. Like, Xiao was going to kill. The only reason she was alive is because Xiao thought that she was a pet, like she was nothing, like she didn't count her at all. That is the only reason why she was alive. Like, that's the only reason why Shaoxing didn't kill her. But it took so much courage to do that, and I don't know, I really love her. She was such a great character. And speaking of other great characters, Gu Miao Miao, what a name, what a character. I feel that Wenger Sheen inherited a lot from his mom, and I really, really like her. Not only is she badass, but that she's devious, she's smart, she's very protective of her family, and it's one of those characters that I am sorry we didn't get to see more of, because I would have loved to see not only her. I would have been interested to see more about that generation in general, and I don't know. I would have liked to, just see more of her, because they were such interesting characters. That moment when she poisons Shaoxing, which I still sustain. I still think that she didn't actually poison him. That's my, well, not that he didn't poison him, but maybe she gave him something, but it wasn't as bad as she said it was. But, he knew that the guy had no choice but to trust her. So I feel that at that moment, this is the memory that Wen Kexin recovers, I think, towards the end. After Shou Sushui's capture, I think that he remembered letting Shaoxing in the house, even though he wasn't supposed to, and all of that. And I fully believe that Gu Miao Miao actually didn't give him the poison that she said he did. He just gave him something that makes him feel a little bit off. And then he just, find that as an excuse for him to leave her alone, thinking that it's going to give her enough time for, Shou Sushu's master to show up and, help them, which we know it didn't happen. But again, such a badass, such a great character. So again, I wish we have seen more of her. I'm going to put her in Love Gremlin because I wish I have seen more of them. I feel like if I have seen more of her, I'll put her like in the top, but she's still a great character. The next one that we have is Gushian. And when I was doing this, when I was actually copying the list of characters, I realized that Gushian and Gu Miao Miao have the same last name. You know where I'm putting her. I'll just put her there because, we know where she's going. And I wonder if Wen Kexin made that happen, like he used his mother's last name for Gushian. I think that is a possibility. And what can I say about Gushian? I'm going to put her next to Sawanin because, why separate them? Gushian is such an interesting character. And I think at the beginning, I'll be honest, I liked her from the beginning. I know a lot of people don't. Like, a lot of people find her a little bit annoying at the beginning. In my case, I didn't. I just like her. But then I was told that the reason that she was maybe a little bit childish at the beginning was because she has never been in the outside world and she didn't know how young women behave. So she was just doing what she thought she had, she was behaving in the way that she thought she was supposed to behave, I think. And I find that pretty interesting. Or at least it's a very interesting detail. I really like how honest she is, how, she's definitely very reactionary, but she's definitely somebody who likes to think like they are tough and they don't need anybody, or at least that's the impression that they give. And then it turns out that they actually, they have such a soft heart. Like, she loved Chenglin, even though she bullied him a little bit at the beginning, she loved Chenglin so much. The same with Cao Wenin, the same with Kexin, Shou Sushu. It's like, she definitely has such a soft heart. And there is a moment I feel like the same way as for Wenger Sheen had that moment after the death of the sages of Anji, he had that moment of maybe regret about what he had done or what he had caused to happen. I feel like Gushian have that same moment after, like in one of the episodes towards the end, when they are in a restaurant, they are attacked, and there is like a beggar in the door of the restaurant, and she kills him. And it didn't seem, like at first glance, it didn't seem like he was dangerous. And to be fair, I don't think it's very ambiguous whether she actually realized that that he was dangerous or he just killed him, because then it's revealed that he had a dagger hidden in his sleeve, but it's never clear whether she actually saw the dagger or she just, I don't know, killed him. But you can see after that scene that she's talking with Xiao Wenin, and she definitely looks down, and she doesn't look happy, and Xiao Wenin tells her that even though she pretends not to care, like, first of all, Xiao Wenin, what a sweet boy. What he says to her is that he doesn't care that he killed a man, but what he does care is that Gushian is going to feel bad about it if he was an innocent person. And she tells him that he's an idiot and that no, she doesn't. But I do think she does. We can see that she's affected by it. So I feel like I think it's possibly similar to what happened with Wenger Sheen and the Sages of Anji, that show us that, these characters are not indiscriminate killers, that they have a conscience, they do feel things, but they are so used to not feeling, they are so used to being ruthless and living in a place where being ruthless is the only option they have, that they find it very difficult when they actually have to confront feelings of guilt and things like that. So I find that very interesting. Her character, obviously heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. That whole thing with Wenger Sheen being her brother and all that, I still tear up when I think about them. It's like such a sad ending. And again, if I ever watch the show again, not if, I'm when, because I'm definitely going to watch it. When I watch the show again, the fact that I have to, well, no, let me tell you right now, I'm not watching their death again. I'm going to skip episode 34 completely. Episode 34 doesn't exist for me. It's, who knows it? Nobody. Doesn't exist. It's lost. But already knowing that, is it episode 34? Yes, I think it's 34. Already knowing what happens to them, it sort of changes the way that you rewatch the show, knowing what happens. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to be sad rewatching the show, whenever I see Gushian. Okay, so apparently my dogs have some thoughts about this as well. I honestly, I love her relationship with Wenger Sheen. That sort of playfulness that there is between them, like sort of brotherly playfulness, is just so sweet. I really like the relationship that she ended up developing with Shou Shu, that big sister relationship that she had with Cheng Ling. It was just, I think about it and I'm so close to crying right now. This fucking show, it destroyed me. I'm not okay. And the fact that when I have to go back to, to take these pictures, I think for them, obviously the pictures were already there, but, I obviously had to see some scenes because, I have to look for a frame where I could have, I could take a screenshot of the character. I there were some points that I just literally made myself cry just by watching at them. So, Gushian, I love her. And again, I know that it happens in the book as well, but they have to break our hearts like this. It's just terrible. The only thing that I wish she actually, I guess it makes sense that she didn't, because obviously, this guy who killed her and who killed Xiao Wenin was definitely somebody who had very good martial arts. And for what I know, she's good, but she's not excellent or she's not perfect. So it makes sense that she wouldn't have been able to defeat him. But at that moment, I wish it so badly. I wish so badly that she was the one to kill him. And it's just heartbreaking that she just wasn't. It's just heartbreaking. I'm not okay. I'm not okay talking about Gushian, so I'm going to stop because if I continue, I'm going to end up crying. So let's go to the next one. Another sad one, and we have Hayin, which again, a character that I really like. I'm going to be honest, he gave me some vibes, this character, like maybe he was in love with Shuo. It was never clear whether he was in love or maybe he was just so loyal to him. I'm going to put him here in beloved Gremlin. He was, again, he had a very tragic death and a very senseless death. I think that is probably the saddest thing, that so many of these characters have senseless deaths. Like he was trying to get the glazed armor because he thought maybe inside of it they would find something to cure Shuo. Then it turns out that the glazed armor that he had was a fake and that it actually was all a trick so he could find them and for Prince Jin to take revenge, or not take revenge, but take Shuo back. And it was so heartbreaking. Hayin seems such a sweet character, and that he says that his greatest wish, I think, was to be a disciple for Four Seasons Manor, and this just kills me. Absolutely kills me. And I'll make parenthesis here. I've been reading a lot of fan fiction for Word of Honor, and I have to say there is a certain type, a certain genre of fan fiction that I'm completely addicted to, that I think it makes a lot of sense, which is the stories, and I have read several that are very good, stories in which Shuo and Wenger Sheen sort of reincarnate but in their past selves with all of their memories, so then they can redo everything but redo it in a way that maybe they are able to save a lot of people. And those are my absolute favorite. Like, I'm collecting them. I'm getting all of them, and I absolutely love those stories. Obviously, because I feel like a lot of characters died that I wish they hadn't. And most of those, stories end up with everybody living in Four Seasons Manors and being happy, and that is the only thing I want. I am a basic bitch. I want happy endings, and I absolutely love the idea of that happy ending. So I think maybe I'm going to make a list in Tumblr for those who are interested in reading those stories, but I'm thinking about them because they often include characters like Hayin, they even include characters like Uncle B and characters like that, and obviously in these stories Gushian doesn't die and Xiao doesn't die, don't die, and so they're just what I need. And it's strange because I couldn't really get into other types of stories for Word of Honor. Like I really like AUs, like modern AUs, and then that one. Those are the two genres that I like reading. Everything different is like, yeah, it's fine, I guess, but it's not what I need. What I need is all of the characters to have a happy ending. That is my point for this story. I need all of the characters to have to live happily ever after, nobody to die except the people who should die, and that's it. Like, that is all I want. So maybe I'm going to make a list and I'm going to put it on Tumblr if anybody has the same cravings as I do for that type of story. But it's strange. I've never been in a fandom where I was so dedicated to one type of story, to one genre of story. But that is definitely my absolute favorite. So definitely Hang In made me think of it, because that moment when he says like his greatest wish would have been to be part of Four Seasons Manor, it's like, oh, no. And then he died. That is the moment that I knew that he was going to die. It was like, no. Why? This fucking show, man. Why does it make me suffer so much? I'm not happy about that. I really like this show, but I suffer through it. Next character, we have Laughing Ghost. I'm not a huge fan of Laughing Ghost. I guess he isn't worse than any of the others, like from Changing Ghost and Black Grim Reaper Ghost. Like he, again, is not a character that we see him being particularly terrible, but I think he had like a rivalry with Tragic Comic Ghost. For some reason, I remember when they had those weddings that Tragic Comic Ghost was presiding. He said some snarky comments, and I think she punched him. So I believe that they definitely wasn't very good blood between them. And I don't know. I'm sorry for him, because he definitely, of all the ghosts, he's probably the one that I think would have had more difficulty reintegrating in society because, well, his face. But he's also creepy. But I don't know. I'm going to put him in okay, I guess. In the end, I don't actually have any strong feelings against him. He's fine. I don't think we see him doing anything particularly terrible. So, yeah, I think he's fine there. I'm happy. I'm happy with him being there. I don't have any, particularly, like, hate towards him, but I don't like him the same level that I like Changing Ghost. As I said, Changing Ghost I think is my top ghost, definitely. I need to drink water because between the fun and the fact that I've been speaking for an hour and 20 minutes, my mouth was dry. So, the next character is, what is the name of this character? Quanku, I think. And this character I didn't like. I can tell you right away he's here. He's in ugh. Like, he was definitely a character that was looking after himself. He had his own plans. He was, manipulating everybody for his own gain. But to me, the nail that hit the coffin, the nail that covered the coffin, well, you know what I mean. That moment was when he wanted to sell Gao Shaolian to a brothel. What a piece of shit! Like, and just for revenge from the fact, like, she was responsible. Like, first, what? No, unacceptable. The only thing that I'm sorry in this show is that we actually don't see him die. I think Shen kills him. I'm pretty sure. Or Cao Wenin kills him? Now I'm unclear. But he definitely... No, sorry. Neither of those people kill him. He's killed by the couple with the matching outfits. He's killed by them, and then they want to recapture Gao Shaolian and Cao Wenin. But my only regret is that we don't actually see him die. I would have really, really enjoyed that, because he honestly was a piece of shit, and he definitely, again, I feel like a lot of these people have a point when they say that maybe nobody should have the glazed armor, like maybe it's something that they should share between them, although how? But again, there are methods and methods, and this guy was a piece of shit, so fuck him. So let's move to something a lot nicer. Let's move to Xin Beixuan. I love Xin Beixuan. Let me put him up here next to his husband. And yes, those two pictures are from the same moment. One of my favorite moments in the show, where they are talking about Gushian, who ran away with Cao Wenin, and Beixuan is telling her, like, oh, aren't you ashamed that you ran away with your boyfriend? And, obviously Gushian is not. And that was, admiring Gushian's spirit about how she, she doesn't give a shit. She does whatever she likes. And Beixuan makes a comment about, how the people from the place where that was from are very good, sort of taking, children from good families, taking them away. And I'm pretty sure he meant himself, like that would have taken him with him, like I feel like there was a secret flirting going on. Look at those faces. There's definitely flirting. I know that in the novel they are the couple. Like in their own novel they are the couple. So I think I already said I really, really love these two characters. They definitely intrigue me a lot because they seem very different from each other. I think Bei Xuan is probably one of the most attractive men in the show. He's so good looking and seems like such a nice character. And now I realized that I actually didn't put his servant. I think it's Ping An. I think that's the character who was his servant. Poor guy, I didn't put him. He deserved to be here. I just forgot him. But, you know, if he was here, he'll probably be in one of the, either in Okay, I guess, or Beloved Gremlins. I don't know. But he deserved a place at least here. I'm so sorry you didn't get it. But back to Bei Xuan and Dawu, absolutely love them. Another moment that I love about Bei Xuan is when he's saying that So Sushu had told him to find a girl, like in the past, and then he says, well, what you find? And it's like, yeah, he finds something else. He finds something all right. I really like him. I would have loved to see a lot more interactions between them, because every time they were on screen, they were a joy to watch. So I would have loved to see so much more of them. Okay, so this next character, I have no idea, like, I don't even know his name. I don't think he had a name. Well, maybe he did, but I have only find him listed as the leader of the Hai Sha sect. And the only thing that I can say about this character is that his role in the show was to kiss Xiao Xing's ass all of the time. Like, whenever he said something, this guy was there very loudly supporting him. That was his role. That was the only thing that he did in his life. Just support Cao Wenin, not Cao Wenin. Oh, I was looking at the picture of Cao Wenin and my brain short circuit. Just supporting Xiao Xing constantly. That is the only thing he was supposed to do with his life. So I'm going to put him in because I'm going to put him in thin ice, because I guess he had some pretty shitty opinions, but I feel like I didn't put a lot of people in thin ice, so I'm going to put him there, because I guess, I don't know if he did anything else other than that maybe he just supported him loudly and then went back home to his children and his wife and I don't know, used the money that Xiaoxing maybe was giving him to support him, just to support his family. Maybe he's just a hardworking man, trying to, make it in a very difficult environment. But I just found that funny. Every time that something happened, he was there supporting Xiaoxing, and I don't know why. It's still unclear to me. I don't know what else he did. I don't know what's happening with it. I don't know. It's a mystery. All we know is that he was a Xiaoxing supporter, to the end. Well, to the end, I don't know what happened to him in the end. Maybe he died or something. It's not clear. To be honest, I don't remember. Next character. The next character that we have is, because I have the actual name here rather than Beauty Ghost. I know that's Beauty Ghost, but her actual character is Liu Qianqiao. And if we have the name, I'll call her by her name, Liu Qianqiao. I really love her character. I'm going to put him here in Beloved Gremlin. She was definitely, the only thing that I can criticize her character is her taste in men. Like, my God, please. No. That guy was literally nothing. Like, look at this girl. Like, I guess she had some kind of scar in her face that she thought maybe made her, less beautiful, which I don't agree. I think she still looked absolutely great. And she had a lot of abilities, so she was very good. But she still was in love with the embodiment of a piece of untoasted white bread. that guy was nothing. Like, why? Why was this girl doing that to herself? I don't know. Also, very tragic story. I find it interesting at the end. She ended up taking the water of Lydie to forget him. To me, I doubted for a second whether she had drank it willingly or maybe Tragicomicos and just gave it to her. But I'm pretty sure that she drank it willingly. Like, she made the decision, because I believe that in the last moment that we saw them together, she made the decision of cutting ties with him. So I think that's her way of cutting ties with him, just forgetting him. So you know what? Good for her. She had such a tragic ending. I was very sad. I think I said it already when I was reacting to this. I really, really like the whole department of the unfaithful group of people. I would have liked to focus a lot more on that, because I feel like there was a lot of interesting characters and a lot of interesting possibilities for that we have there. So I'm sorry we didn't get to see more of it. But she was definitely very skillful, very interesting. And another thing that I really liked was her relationship with Scorpion King. Like, there was sort of friends, but also she was working for him. But I don't know. I in the end, I really like that. I really like that Scorpion King came to care for her a little bit. And also see himself reflected in her relationship with that piece of white bread that she loved. I don't know. I find that I would have stood behind that relationship a lot more than the other one. Even more. It is my personal belief, and this is not something that is in the show. It is my personal belief that she would have gone very well with Tragic Comic Ghost. Like, if I have seen some relationship between the two of them, that I would have loved. But I guess we only have to, nothing that we see in canon is there to support it. I just think they would have made a nice couple, and they truly care for each other. There is this moment where Beauty Girls have to go to do something for Wenger Sheen. I don't remember exactly what. And she had to leave Tragic Coping Ghost, and, she tell her, I'm going to leave your medicine, do you want me to, remind you or something, I don't know. And then when she's about to leave, Tragic Coping Ghost remind her to take some, rain equipment or something like that, because it's going to rain. And you can see, like, in the little gestures that how much they care for each other. So, again, another character that I would add to the list of characters I would have liked to see more. Although I feel like for her we see a lot. I would have liked to see more of her and Tragic Comic Ghost together. She also had a very interesting dynamic with Dupusa, which, again, that couple also I wouldn't have mind. But to be fair, rather than that goatee piece of shit that she liked, anything I would have loved. Like, anything other than that I would have loved. But yeah, that's it. She's pretty nice. I like her. Okay, so the next character that we have is Longchu. I don't know how to pronounce him. I think so she should call him Long Bobo or something like that, but I don't remember how they pronounce his name itself. I think it's Longchu. I'm going to call him Uncle Long just because it's a lot easier. Sorry to take, I feel like we don't have that type of relationship. Like, maybe I shouldn't call him that, but I prefer to call him that than to mispronounce his name. So, again, he really was a very good man. I'm going to put him in Beloved Gremlins. He honestly was somebody who tried to do the best. Like he tried to help Wenger Sheen's parents in any way that he could. Like, he was so happy to find out that they were okay. I don't know, he was just a sweet guy when he found out who Cheng Ling was. And again, he had such a sad story. his life wasn't, or at least maybe before the birth of his son, his life was fine, but definitely after it wasn't. So he had a pretty rough life. But I don't know. He was really a nice guy, and I believe that he did the best he could. And I don't know. He was a very nice character. He's definitely a character that's very important, because through him is where we find out like most of what actually happened in the past or from the show, and also he triggers the revelation of who Wenger Sheen is. So I think it's definitely a key character. But other than that, I find that again, I don't feel like in this show there aren't that many characters that are just good, like just good people. And not that, I mean, some of the other characters may be good people, but, sometimes they don't make the best decisions. And I feel like he really was somebody who was good. And I remember, I think it was Cheng Lin that was talking about how people who are good, sometimes they end up, having not a very good ending. And I have the feeling that this is what happens in this show. Like, I think the show does maybe try to make a commentary that to make it in that sort of environment, that to make it in that sort of world, is not enough to be good and to be honorable and all of that. But you also need to do things that maybe are not completely honorable. You need to do things that will allow you to survive, because this world is savage. This world is something that you need to build yourself a protection for this world, and that being good and honorable sometimes is not going to protect you. And that's why maybe characters that are maybe more honorable and maybe more, what we would traditionally say good, most of them, I think, end up dead. Not to say all of them, at least in this show. Well, I guess not all of them. Like, then Kuan ends up alive, and he seems... Well, no, actually, we actually see him kill some... I don't know, remember if it was his friend, but remember when they have the wedding with the Department of the Unfaithful, and then they make all of the disciples from the different sects fight each other, and then Quan says that he doesn't want to fight, but then he's forced to kill someone who I think was a friend of his. So I think, again, maybe that is just supporting my argument that if you are if you are good, and if you are a good person, and if you're a decent person, and only that, and you're not willing to maybe do some other things sometimes that would keep you alive, then you're probably going to end up dead, or without legs, being tortured by your son. I guess that is the worst. That is the worst possibility. But I do think that is maybe something that this show is trying to make a point of, because if you see all of the characters that actually survive in the end, like, it's not like, obviously they're not bad characters. Wenger Sheen and Shuo are not bad characters, but they definitely have a past, and they're definitely willing to do a lot of things to survive, and or to help his relatives survive. So I don't know. I think that is a good point for this. That is a good point for this show, and I guess we're going to continue seeing that for the other characters as well. That obviously you can be good, but you also need to have some flexibility, at least in this world. I'm not saying everywhere. Well, maybe also everywhere you need to have some flexibility. But, I'm not condoning murder. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want that to be my message at the end of the day. But yeah, I really like Uncle Long. He was a good character. And another character that I really enjoy seeing in those fanfics when, they rescue him and he actually, they take him to live with them, to Four Seasons Manor, or they get there in time and they manage to save him. Like, I don't know. I feel like after the absolutely heart-wrenching suffering that is the last 2 episodes of this show, I feel like I just don't want to read any more angst about it. I just don't want to read any more suffering. I don't want to read any more characters that die. I just want everybody to live, except, you know who I don't want to live, but except them. All of the rest, my favorite. Again, I'll put a list of the stories in Tumblr in case anybody's interested. Okay, so the next character is Long Xiao. Long Xiao, who is a character that his story makes me very uncomfortable. The way they dealt with his disability is something that makes me feel very uncomfortable in this show. Blaming him being terrible. I'm sorry, I have my cat here one of my cats who decided to appear and rub herself against the microphone, so let me move her gently away. Oh, there we go. She's gone. So, again, and this is something that in one of the other shows that I'm watching, I'm not going to say which or anything else, just in case, spoilers, but there is not the same, but again, there is an episode that deals with a very serious topic, and I feel like it's not dealt in the best way, so I don't know if this is something that happens just in Chinese television, that maybe certain topics tend to be a little bit, not greatly developed, let's just say, or they are not making the best decisions, I feel. But with this character, I don't like the implication that, he's evil because he just have a disability and the way the other characters treat him. I don't know. The whole thing I'm not a fan of. I just don't like him. But he also is pretty evil, so I'm going to put him in ugh. But again, I think what makes me more uncomfortable about from all of this is how the whole topic is dealt with. It definitely left a very bad taste in my mouth. Okay, so the next character that we have is Lovelace, and I think he had another name, but I didn't write it down. I just know him as Lovelace. And this is probably the ghost that I don't like because he seems like a creep, and probably worse than a creep. I'm going to put him in Earth. You already know. He was really a disgusting character, who is played by a very attractive actor, which I resent. And also he has very cool eyebrows, but nothing of that makes it better of him not being an absolute disgusting creep. So there, I just don't like him that much. I guess, again, it's not, I would say this about Lovelace, that even in the show, I feel like he's portrayed a little bit worse than the other ghosts, especially like Changing Ghost, Black Wing Reaper, even Laughing Ghost, because he's definitely a character that we know why he's in the Ghost Valley. But again, Corpse Eating Ghost is also a character that we know why he's in the Ghost Valley, or we can assume. But unlike Corpse Eating Ghost, we never actually see him do any corpse eating. While with Lovelace, we actually see him, like, the first introduction to him, although I think he appears in the first episode, but the first true introduction to him, he actually has 2 girls tied up, and he's making some very disgusting threats. So I feel like even in the narrative, he's treated a little bit differently from the other ghosts. And also, in the end, the fact that he, how he dies, how he was treating beauty ghost. Again, I feel like in the narrative, he is shown to be worse than the other ghosts. Even though we know that maybe the other ghosts are capable of doing absolutely horrible stuff, we never actually see them. So that helps a little bit in not seeing them as complete horrible people. While I feel like Lovelace, it definitely leaves no doubt what type of person he is and how disgusting he is. So, in that sense, yeah, he's definitely my least favorite ghost for sure. Okay, so the next character is, I think this piece of shit character, Mo Huai Yang, you know this category was created for you. You piece of shit, hypocritical piece of shit. The fact that he had the goal to go to the Ghost Valley and tell Xiao Wenin that he was ruining the reputation of his sect just because of he was with Gushian, and that he was like a temptress that was taking him away, and that made him like a horrible person. When the guy, I mean, at this point, had already killed Uncle Fan, had already attacked, like, I think the other one, which I'm pretty sure is also his son, like, he ran away, like, I think the other one is called, Mo Wei Shu. I don't think he killed him, I think he ran away, so we don't know what happened to him, but that was his own son, and also he was in cahoots with the Scorpions, and that caused the death of half of his sect, and then he demands that the Scorpion, he tells, no, the Scorpion King has to die because of what he did to my sect, and then he goes into an alliance with him, like, what? And then he had the goal to go to the Ghost Valley and killed Xiao Wenin because he was, together with Gushian. The goal, just say that it was the glaze armor. Don't put that stupid, facade of, morality, into the thing. Like, no, you want the glazed armor. That's why you're there. That's why you're doing what you're doing. What a piece of shit. I'll be honest, I don't think I ever hated any other character as much as I hated this one. Like, there are other villains that I don't like. There are other villains that I find disgusting, not only in this show, but in other shows. But I feel like none of them reach this level. Like, none of them reach this level of absolute disgust. To me, this guy just takes the cake. I absolutely hate him. So, yeah, this category was made for him, I feel. And he's a character that actually doesn't appear until right in the end, so it's not a character that we saw a lot. But, and, right until the end, it's like, yeah, that he's in cahoots with the Scorpions and the Shaoxing and all of that, so he's definitely shifty, but it's not a character that he did a lot, like, in terms of villainy. Like, it's not a character that he did a lot right until the end. Okay, my cat is back. Why? She just wants to be here. Could you let me get the mouse? Yes, thank you. Okay, so the next one is the son of this. Okay. Yeah, that was her almost dropping my microphone. Thank you. Now she's lying down next to it. Going to stay there? Yeah, apparently. Okay, so the next one is Mo Wei Shu, who I'm pretty sure it is this guy's son. And I don't know. At the beginning, I wasn't too sure about this guy, because obviously he was the one who was the least convinced about Gushian. He definitely suspects her a lot, so I wasn't a huge fan of him. But I truly believe that he really loved Xiao Wening. Like, he considers Xiao Wening a part of his family. And I don't know. He's okay. I'm going to put him there. He's okay. He's not bad, but he was definitely... And I don't know, from his perspective, like from the perspective of these guys, the Ghost Valley was doing some things that they should be concerned about. And for all they know, what are you doing? Now she sat on the... There we go. She sat on the keyboard. Perfect. Why? What is happening with cats? Like, why? No, let me get her off the table. There we go. There, she's gone. What was I saying? from the perspective of these guys, like, the Ghost Valley was doing some things. Like, they didn't know all of the truth, but from the truth that they did know, obviously, he had reasons to believe to suspect Gushian, I believe. But because we know that Gushian, we know Gushian, we know who she is and what's happening with her. Obviously, we don't like that. But I don't know. I feel sorry, for this guy, because his father, if it was in fact his father, was an absolutely piece of shit. Okay, next character. The next character is a character that I had no idea who he was. Definitely not one of the ones that appear the most. His name is Yonka. Then I remember that he's the character that Beauty Ghost, punish, because he had impregnated a girl and then I think abandoned her, and the girl, I'm not sure if it's clear whether she committed suicide or maybe somebody else had hung her or something like that. I don't know. And I think he dies? I have no idea what happens to this guy. So I'm going to put him in here. Cool. Which it has very few people. Actually, there's not as many people in this category as I would have imagined. I'm pretty much I have some memories of everyone, but this one, it didn't make an impact on me. Like, the only thing that I remember is that, and that he was the groom in the ghost marriage. But other than that, I have no idea who this guy is. Like, he could be anyone. Okay, so another character that is not great. I'm going to put him in no. Really, in good company. Like, you two guys, you will be great friends, I think. That is the Old Valley Master, who we saw, and I think that's probably one of the things that was a little bit shocking, that we saw him actually whipped a child. That was something else, and it was so creepy because he was obviously grooming Wenger Sheen in a way. Like, he was grooming him, not in a sexual way, although maybe that is the way you use grooming. Like, he was trying to make Wenger Sheen into something. Like, maybe in his twisted mind, he was helping Wenger Sheen, but he was honestly a piece of shit. And really absolutely disgusting. I am happy that Wenger Sheen killed him and skinned him alive. Did he skin him alive? Was he dead when he skinned him? I don't know the details, but he's dead, and that's all that matters. To be honest, good for him. Good for Wenger Sheen, because he got his revenge. This guy was honestly a piece of shit. Didn't like the guy. Although obviously we didn't get to see that much, but just what we saw, that was enough. I don't think we needed to see more of him. Okay, the next one is the Prince Jinn. I don't like the Prince Jinn. I don't think this is a surprise to anybody. To be fair, if the only thing that we had was what we saw of him at the beginning, I don't care. Like, yeah, I guess he seems upset the fact that Shuo is going to leave him, but we know that Shuo is very good at what he does, so maybe that's what bothers him. But what we saw after, like, him capturing Shuo, putting him in his old clothing, and, technically, like, dragging him, so he wouldn't escape and all of that. And then, I don't know, I find that incredibly creepy. And the moment he said that he's considered Shuo to be his soulmate, I was like, excuse me? No. We don't accept that here. I'm going to put him in I don't think he's a no type of character, but definitely gives me the creeps. I don't like him. Although, I have to say, the actor who plays him is actually, it works for me. I think he's pretty good looking, but he's just not great. And he also only has one outfit. which is, I think, suspicious for a prince. Like, why do you have more? I know that this is for budget reasons. I think, not a lot of characters had a change of outfit. Like, I think Wenger Sheen and Shuo, and then for the others, maybe they have a few outfits. But I don't know. He's a prince. Maybe they should have made at least one more outfit, just to make it show that he's actually rich or something, not that he's wearing always the same thing. But I don't know, not the most important part. The most important part is that he's a creep and that I don't like him, and he only cares about Shuo in terms of the things that Shuo can do for him. Obviously he doesn't really care for Shuo, because if he did, he would have let him go. So you know what, fuck this guy, don't like him. The next one, Scorpion King. I have very mixed feelings about Scorpion King. Like, I like him. Don't get me wrong, I like him. I find his character very interesting. I find the development of his character very interesting. He was a character that I sometimes find frustrating, but I think that's my cat sneezing. She really wants to be the center of attention today. I find him very frustrating, especially when it comes to Xiao, but I think that is very true to life. Like, his relationship with Xiao, or the way, he behaved towards him, it's, to me, it ring real. This idea that he still believe in him, like he's still, and I think that maybe something that happened, obviously they have a very strange relationship. I hesitate to call the relationship like a father-son relationship, but I think that is something that you see a lot when with abusive parents, that they mistreat you, but then there are other moments, or in general with abusive people, and why sometimes it's so hard to get away from them, because you have these people that are obviously abusive, but they're not abusive all of the time. If abusive people were abusive all of the time, it wouldn't be as hard to leave them, I guess. But what happens is that they tend to be very manipulative, and they tend to know what to say to make you stay, and to make you feel like maybe that they love you and they need you and that you are an important person to them. And I don't know, I feel like that is something that it happens a lot in real life. So that's why it's frustrating to see that Scorpion King constantly have reasons to doubt Xiao, but eventually he always comes back until he doesn't. But I find that aspect of his relationship very interesting, because I feel that is something very real that happens. I feel sorry for him, because obviously it seems like he was groomed and manipulated from a very young age, and he definitely deserved better. However, I know that he was partially responsible for Gushian and Xiaowen's death, so I'm going to put him in thin ice. If not for that, I'll put him higher. But I'm not going to excuse you for that. I know that he wasn't directly responsible, but he had a hand and he was looking from a distance. So that I won't forget. Like, not a chance. I feel sorry for him, but no. He's also, I would say, another of the characters that I find the most attractive. He's definitely so good looking. And his makeup, another character that his makeup is absolutely on point. Absolutely great. Love him in that sense. But maybe don't cause the death of Xiaowen and Gushian, because that was, to me, unforgivable. And something I have to say about the fan fiction with this guy, there's obviously some fan fiction with Xiao, which I just, not my thing. Not only because of the creepiness of the relationship, although for people, if you ship it, that's fine. I don't mind. I'm not going to censor anybody. You do whatever you like. Personally, I don't, but mostly because I know that those stories are going to be depressing. Like, I just know it. So not what I want to read from here. But I also saw a lot of people shipping him with Yebai, and I have to say, I don't see it. Like, I tried reading a few stories, and it's like, I don't get it. I don't get this couple. I don't know. I don't see them together. I don't see them, sometimes you have characters that even if they haven't met, although I think they met briefly, and I think Yebai made a bad decision of calling him, I think, a good boy or a good lad or something like that, which for a guy with daddy issues, you shouldn't do. Especially if you're an older gentleman, but that is a whole different thing. I forgot what I was saying. I feel like sometimes you have characters that, although they have never met each other, you can sort of see how they will click together. Like you said, yeah, I could see them together. With Yebai and Scorpion King, personally, I don't see. I do agree that he deserved better, but I don't know about Yebai. I don't think, as far as I'm concerned, I tried, wasn't my thing, but in my head, who would be a very good sugar daddy for Scorpion King? Shen Shen. I mean, it's perfect. Shen Shen is dumb, so he could manipulate it in any way he liked. He's so loyal. Once Shen Shen is loyal to you, he's never going to waver until he literally finds out that, you betrayed him and you kill your older brother. Like, up to that point, he's going to be loyal to, to his death, which I think is something that Scorpion King needs. He needs someone who knows is going to be loyal. We know he's rich because he has his own sect, and we know that Scorpion King likes decorating, and I think Shen Shen is going to let him do anything he likes, because he lets everybody do anything he likes. Like, he just do what people say. Like, I find the fact that there is because they don't meet each other in the show, I know, but I would love to read a story when they end up together, because I think that would actually be a good couple. Because Scorpion King, I feel like Yebai is a little bit too mean. I don't think that's what Scorpion King needs. Scorpion King needs someone to spoil him. And I don't feel Yebai has the means to do it, and I don't think he has the correct personality to do it. So obviously for those who ship it, go ahead. It's a free world. I'm from an older generation. Like, let's be real. I've been shipping for a very long time. And I'm from an older generation who tends to be, I feel, maybe a little bit more, just open about things. Not open, but I think that maybe nowadays a lot of people are more judgmental about other people's tastes, let's say. I don't know. I'm definitely from a generation that is, whatever. You know what? You do you. You like it. Go ahead. More power to you. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's something that brings you joy, and that's great. I'm not going to be reading it because it's not my personal taste, but, I don't mind. I feel like even for, couples that are a little bit more, less traditional, let's say, like even Scorpion King and Xiao, I really don't care. Like, if you want to ship them, go ahead. It makes you happy. You do whatever you like. We live in such a shitty world that if you find something that makes you happy, and that doesn't hurt anybody, and, just do it. Why complain? Why complain about what somebody else does if it doesn't hurt anybody? Anyway, Scorpion King, he deserves better. Shen maybe, but apparently I am in the minority in the sense that I'm probably the only one saying that. But again, he's in thin ice. And I think that maybe would Shen get over the fact that Scorpion King was an assassin? Well, he ended up forgiving Wenger Sheen, so I guess he could. I think he could, end up seeing Scorpion King as a victim a lot more. But, he didn't. Scorpion King chose to go through the route of making his godfather into whatever it is he did, and keeping him there like a doll that he could talk to, and then he died. So that's his choices. That's the choice that he made. If he had made a different choice, he could be living at Shenshen's mansion, decorating the whole thing and being spoiled and getting everything that he wanted. But I guess just some people, they just, they just don't want to be happy, I guess. No, okay, so it's not Scorpion's Son. He had a lot of issues. Okay, so the next character that we have is Princess Jing An, and she's a character that only appears for one scene in the whole show. But I will tell you the truth. When I went back to the show to get this picture of her, I saw that whole scene with her and I literally cried. That scene is so heartbreaking. And especially once you know more about the situation, once you know who was the guy who gave her the hairpin and all of that. Like, once you understand the context a lot better, things become so heartbreaking, and it just destroyed me. That scene, it was so sad. And I don't know, I'm going to put her in okay, I guess, because no, should I put him below? But we don't know anything about her. I guess I shouldn't. I'm going to put her in okay, I guess, just because we only had her for one scene and we didn't know anything about her. Now, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to put her in Love Gremlins, because I feel like, we do know that she did things. We know that she recovered the body of this boy. What is the name of this boy? Xiao, who was Shou Sushu's junior. And we know that after his death, she was the one who recovered the body and sent it back to Four Seasons Manor. We know that he was engaged to this, not engaged, but she had some kind of agreement, and she loved this guy. And that moment when she says, oh no, I'm going to start crying again. I don't know if it's the heat, but I've been crying so much lately, which is something that I shouldn't do, because I'm, it's very difficult to hydrate during the summer when it's very hot, and I feel like I'm missing hydration when I cry. But she's heartbreaking. There was a moment when she, Sosu should let her have the poison, and she tells her, she tells her that she should kill herself. I don't know. She phrased it in a different way, and she just wiped her tears and grabbed the poison and takes her. It was like, I thought she hadn't taken it, and like she was maybe pretending, but no, she took it. But she looked, so strong there. I'm so, again, why this show? I mean, this show just wants to make me suffer. That's what I get from this show. Okay, so the next character is, Xiao Luhan, and she's another assassin for the Scorpions. I'm going to be honest, I don't have that many memories about her. I obviously remember, I'm going to put her in Thin Ice, because obviously, she was an assassin, and, Dupusa's there, so I'm going to put her in the same way. They also tortured Chengling, who is a 14-year-old boy, which is not good. But I don't know. I think the only reason why I clearly remember this woman, first, because there's always seemed to be like a sort of flirting between Dupusa and her, and also when they were in the first Heroes Conference, I heard these guys were so. She was just wearing a hat and a moustache, and he was. I mean, I guess it worked. At least he was wearing more than Sosu Shu. He was just wearing a hat. She was wearing at least a hat and a moustache, and she was dressed as a man, I guess. But that was the only thing that I remember from her. I don't even remember whether she died in the end or she's alive. I have no idea. The same with Dupusa. Did Dupusa die? Was she with Scorpion King at the end when they were in the glazed armor? I don't remember. I think I erased. Again, I feel like the last 2 episodes I have to watch again because my head, not the last two, not episode 34 or 30, no, 35. Episode 35 I'm never watching again. But episode 36, I feel like I should watch again because my mind was still reeling for what happened in episode 34. So I just didn't, I think I didn't pay attention to it properly. But I don't know. She was there, I guess. But that is not a category that I put in this one. Okay, very good. So the next one is Shuo's master, who's called Qin Huai Shang. And the only thing, whenever I see this guy, there's only one thing in my mind, and is that this guy is a DILF. Like, let's face it, he's very good looking. He has a great smile. I mean, what else can you do to describe him? I wish I had put that category here because, you know, I feel like I had put several people in that category, but I'm going to put him in okay, I guess, because again, we don't see him a lot, and what we do know about him is that maybe he should have been faster in going back to Wenger Sheen's parents. But I don't know. I guess he had his own problems as well. Like, he did what he could, I suppose. But my God, he is really attractive. And again, he's such a beautiful smile. I don't know. I'm just mesmerized by that guy. I don't know what it is, but it's working on me. So well done, Shuo's master. And I didn't know this until I was doing this list again, but the one who was Shuo's junior was apparently his son, I think. I have the feeling because it has the same last name. It's Qin Xiao. I'm pretty sure he was his son. And this poor guy, another person that seemed to be like very innocent and very naive, and who is eventually killed, which seems to be the way things are in this universe. I'm really sorry for him. He seemed like a pretty good guy, but honestly, he wasn't very. I was going to put him in who because I honestly didn't remember him for a very long time. But now I feel sorry, so I'm going to put him in okay, I guess. Just because, you know, I just feel bad about him, and what happened to him, and because his story with Princess Jinn and just make me cry. But again, another good reason to read more of those stories with, reincarnation, like going back and fixing all of the problems just so everybody can be alive. Let's save this guy. Let's save him so he can marry that princess and they can be happy and I don't have to cry. Okay, so the next one, I know that he is, what is his name? Ching Song, I know that he's another assassin from the Scorpions. I know he's not the only one. There was another one that I didn't include in this list because I forgot. I guess I mean, to do this, I look for a list of all the characters in the internet, and I think maybe not all the characters were present, or maybe I skipped this one. But there was another one. Honestly, I think I could have put both in the same square because I just don't care for any of them. So I'm going to put them in equal. Like, yeah, they are there. They have, like, this one had some music powers. The other one, I think he had a beard, I guess. I don't know. I don't have a lot of memory of those guys. And I think in the end they actually didn't do much. So I don't know how important they were. The next one is the reason why everything happened, the reason why everything went to shit, and is Rongshuan. Rongshuan, you piece of shit. I don't blame him. Also because he's very good looking. He has those eyes that are so nice. But he's definitely, I mean, if you have to look for a catalyzer for this whole story, this guy would be it. And I don't know. I mean, I sort of get his idea of creating the armory, but at the end of the day, I feel like he also stole a lot of material from other sects that he didn't have the right to use. So that definitely wasn't great. So he made a mistake, and then this whole thing happened. So I'm going to put him in thin ice. Like, I don't hate him. I think maybe he was a little bit arrogant, and also I don't know, he definitely made a mistake, but obviously other people were also very responsible into making things a lot worse. It's not like he's responsible. It's not, he's not actually responsible for everything that happened, because, Xiao was also there, but I would say that he's definitely the catalyzer for everything that happened. But I don't know. He had a pretty nice group of friends, and he didn't seem like a bad dude. So I don't know. I feel sorry for the guy. So he's in thin ice just because he's the catalyzer. Not because I think, and also because what he was doing was a little bit shady, but nothing else. I don't think he was a bad guy. The next one. If you have heard any of my reactions, you know that I have a very soft spot for Shen Shen. I cannot explain it. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. Yeah, I know what it is. I like men that are, that they have just very strong himbo vibes. That is what I'm looking in a man. And, Shen Shen is right there. I honestly really like his character. And not only do I find the actor very attractive, what can I say? That, I am older. I'm over 30, not a lot over 30. I'm just over 30. So I tend to like actors that are a little bit older rather than actors that are on the younger, side of things. So I would say that definitely that he fits my bill very well. I really, really think he's very good looking. But other than that, I just find him, I was going to say if it's an interesting character, but I don't know if it's an interesting character. But I feel that it's a character that I understand. I'm going to put him right here. That's right. I put him in the top. I'm not going to apologize. That's where he belongs in my heart. So what I like about Shen Shen is the fact that I don't think he's not a bad guy. He's definitely a guy that, he has a lot of similarities with Gauchon in the sense that I feel like he's very rigid in terms of his beliefs, or at least he's in the first part of the story. I think the reason why he ends up not dying, he ends up surviving and maybe, not having the same fate as other characters that are also, very honorable and very, traditionally good characters, is the fact that he is able to bend a little bit and to flex a little bit and maybe to be more accepting of others. Like, in the end, he does accept Wenger Sheen, even knowing that he was the leader of the Ghost Valley. Like, he heard him and he accepted him. Like, he understood what happened to him, and he maybe learned to be a little bit more accepting in that sense. So I think that's why, unlike other characters that are maybe more traditionally good and more traditionally honorable, died and he survived. I think that's probably the reason. The other thing that I noticed about Shen Shen is the fact that he doesn't like to be alone, that he's used to being surrounded by other people, especially his brothers, and that is the only times when you see him more or less happy. Like, I remember in the flashback that we have from Longchu, in that episode, like where we see all of the characters when they were younger, everybody was together and he was there being so happy, drinking, just throwing cups into the floor and breaking them, and he obviously was very happy surrounded by people. And then we never actually saw him in his own sect. Like, he was always either with Gauchon and then with Shaoxing, and then he leaves to do something else. But it's like, for the first part of the story, we never see him alone. And I think that he actually just doesn't feel himself comfortable being alone. And the next time that we see him happy is actually when he's surrounded by Wenger Sheen and Shuo and the whole gang there after the whole the second Heroes Conference. So I find that, I find that detail a little bit sweet, that he actually needs somebody else there to be there with him, that he feels more comfortable in a group, and he feels more comfortable being part of something, like being part of a brotherhood or being part of just a group of people. I mean, don't get me wrong. Is he an idiot? Yes. Does he make mistakes? Yes. Is he an idiot again? Yes, very much. He always managed to say the wrong thing. Like, always. But then, I don't know, I see him, for example, interacting with Gao Shaolian, or again, how he is in the end, or when he meets Cheng Ling and he tells him, that he's happy that he's so sure, because he could have told him, like, no, you come with me because you are from the Five Lakes Alliance, so you come with me. And no, he told him, I'm very happy that you are with him, like, all of that. I think he was a decent guy. He just was a little bit of an idiot. He made a lot of things, he made a lot of mistakes, but still, he's my idiot. I love him. And again, I feel not a lot of people like him, so I feel like I need to compensate that by me loving him 10 times more than I would normally do. So, Shen, you are there on top. I really like you. And again, I'm still on my Scorpion King Shen possibility here. But I'm the only one here, so it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so the next one are this couple, the matching outfits couple. They have names. Their names are Tao Hongpo, who is the woman, and Lu Liu. But again, that last name is written LV without a vowel in the middle, so I don't know how that is pronounced, but I'm guessing it is Liu. And I have to say, no, listen, I'm going to put them in thin ice because they did some things. But I actually really like these two. And I cried in the end, in the last scene when, Shen was going to kill them, and, in the end, he doesn't kill them. But the wife, she wanted to die. She said, well, go ahead and kill me. And she tells the husband that they were going to reincarnate together, and that in that time she was going to be the man, the one who is the man, then was the woman and will be able to bully her. And it's like, no, why are you making me cry? Why? They are sweet, and I feel like they were manipulated. Like, again, they did a lot of things that weren't great, but also they were definitely manipulated, and I feel like their path of revenge is not dissimilar to, Wenger Sheen's path of I feel like maybe as far as themselves go, I feel they thought they were justified in what they were doing. And, because of the death of their son, I think definitely they were going overboard because, let's face it, like Gao Shaolian, what did she have to do with anything? And I feel like this is something that they also felt. Like I don't think they were actually that interested. Like, I think in one moment they wanted to kill her, but just because just to get rid of her. I don't think they were particularly interested in revenge that way. And maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I feel like they were another group of people that were wronged by the Five Lakes Alliance and what happened with Rongshuan. And they're somebody's whose lives were ruined by what happened. And I don't know, I'm not going to say that they're justified because they are completely justified, because obviously I don't know how much I justify murdering for revenge. Unless, well, in this universe, I think I justify it. But I think maybe they didn't know the whole picture, so they were maybe going after the wrong person. That definitely, I think, it's what's happening. And I don't know, I find them sweet. Like the fact that they dress matching, like they wear matching outfits. The woman was absolutely savage. She didn't give a shit. She was always insulting everybody. I don't know. They were, I like them as characters and I enjoy them. And as I said in the last scene, I actually cried. Not only because of them, but because of Gao Shaolian as well. What a good scene. And nothing. And those outfits, like the ones with the pink and green, those were the best, absolutely. Okay, let's see who's next. The next one is Uncle Lee. Uncle Lee, another character that didn't appear a lot, but it was a very important character because obviously he sacrificed his life to save Chang Chengling, even though he didn't have anything to do with Chang Chengling. Like, he didn't, he wasn't related to him or anything like that. I have the feeling, I haven't rewatched those episodes, but I have the feeling that he did owe Chang Chengling's father, I think, and that's why he was saving Chang Chengling, but I'm not sure if I invented that. So, that I'm not sure. But he did sacrifice his life to save him, and also Shuo didn't pay him, so that wasn't a great day for him. So I'll put him in okay, I guess. Again, we don't see him a lot. You know what? I'm going to put him up because he deserves it. He really sacrificed himself for saving Shan Chengling, and again, he had to take Shuo in his boat the whole way, and then Shuo just goes away without paying. But he got his revenge. He got him Chengling to look after. So, poor guy. And again, he was a good character. He did what he could. For being a boatman, like, I don't know why he could fight. Like, I guess, I don't know. He learned, I guess, but, he was just a boatman. He wasn't like, I don't think he was a martial artist necessarily. So he did what he could. So, good for him, and I'm sorry that he died. The next one, Wenger Sheen. You know when Wenger Sheen is going. He's going right here on top. Love Wenger Sheen. I find him a very interesting character, but also a character that you can really understand. Like, obviously, not at the beginning. At the beginning, you don't understand anything. But once you understand where is he coming from, and what happened to him and his backstory. Once you understand that, you can really understand why he behaves the way he behaves. And I don't know, that's sweet. Obviously, the first few episodes are hilarious because his relentless pursuit of Shuo is just funny. But I find it very interesting that when when things are turned around and it shows Shuo maybe being a little bit more, forward, that he definitely, he goes back a little bit, especially at that stage that he didn't want to reveal things to Shuo that much. And whenever Shuo wanted to, he wanted him to open up. Obviously, he didn't want to reveal a lot of things. I like the fact that despite everything that happens to him, he's still essentially, a good person, and his relationship with Chengling was absolutely adorable. I love also his relationship with Ye Bai, absolutely perfect. hilarious. Like, I love the fact that they were bickering constantly, but at the end of the day, they actually, they liked each other. They care for each other a little bit. So I find that really, 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 really lovely. I really like that. I don't know. I just enjoy Wenger Sheen as a character. Because again, he's someone that went through so much, and he had such a laser focus in what he wants, which is to take revenge, and that he feels that he's not going to be able to live beyond it. Like, everything that matters to him is revenge. And then he starts to realize that maybe there is a lot more, not only Gushian, but also Shuo and Chengling, and there is the possibility of more. And him coming to terms with who he was in the past, because obviously at the beginning, it was something that was there in the back of his mind, but I don't think he actually remembered precisely, or I think he did. Did he remember? Now I don't remember what he remembered, but obviously there is a reason why he was following Shuo, not only because he suspected that he was disguising himself, but he obviously recognized something in his movement, and to make him think that that was Shuo. And I don't know, that whole story was really sweet. Them meeting as children and then separating. It was just nice, and I don't know. I really, really like him as a character, in the sense that you can see the damage that he has because of his past, but at the same time that he's not only that he's so much more than that, and that his relationship with Chengling, which shows to show that maybe the different way that he relates to Gushian once he's outside the Ghost Valley, that those are things that make him realize that there's a lot more for him rather than just revenge and death. And I don't know, that's pretty good for him. Okay, the next one that we have is the White Grim Reaper, and I don't have to say a lot about this guy except that he dies. I'm going to put him in Who, because he's not as memorable as the Black Grim Reaper, because his voice is not as deep as the Black Grim Reaper, and obviously he dies fairly quickly. So yeah, I feel sorry for him. I don't know the relationship between the Black Grim Reaper, or the Black Grim Reaper and the White Grim Reaper. I don't know if they were friends. I don't know what's the deal there, but I guess he didn't live enough for me to find out. And that's pretty much it. I don't have a lot to say about this guy. Okay, so the next one is tragic comic Ghost, and she's going up here. She's another beloved gremlin. She's such a nice character. She had a lot of issues, but she pulled through in the end, and I'm so sorry that she died. Again, all of that department of the Unfaithful, it was such an interesting part of the story. I'm sorry they didn't develop that more and we didn't get to see that more, because I find that part of the story very interesting. And also her backstory with Xiao, like, I needed more reasons to hate that guy. What a piece of shit. Absolutely disgusting. So poor tragic comic Ghost. I really like her relationship with Wenger Sheen. The fact that she honestly tried to save him, tried to help him. I don't know if making him drink that water of lethe was the best decision, but I think she believed it was the best decision that she had. The other thing that I like about her is the fact that her sect, I believe it was her sect or her clan. No, I think it was her sect. It was called like the Neon Sect or something like that, which that sounds amazing. And she definitely had a lot of style to back it up. Again, I wish she hadn't died, and I just love reading the stories where she doesn't, because there's so much potential there. She just deserves so much better, and I'm sorry she didn't get her. She didn't get it just because of a piece of shit like Xiao, which isn't that the story in this? Aren't all of his characters dead because of Xiao? Ultimately, ugh. Also, she had some very interesting powers, like with fabrics. That was pretty cool. I don't know. I really like her. The first moment she appears was incredible. She has the first, like her entrance, amazing. So, nothing. I really like her. And you know what? I'm sorry she didn't live. Like with most of these characters. Now next we have another. You know where he's going. Yebai. I fucking love Yebai. Yebai is from the first moment he was rolling his eyes at Gauchon. I love Yebai. He's such a good character. He's such a bitchy, complaining, curmudgeonly guy. I absolutely love him, and I love the fact that yes, at the beginning he seemed a little more rigid. But then he became a little bit more flexible when it comes to Wenger Sheen and all of that. And I don't know, it's nice that he come to understand, come to understand other people, and that maybe, other people make mistakes, things happen, and Wenger Sheen did what he did to survive. So it's good that he came to understand that. He also has a very tragic story. I think somebody told me that he used to be in love with the guy who was Rongshuan's dad, I believe. But obviously Rongshuan's dad, he had a wife. He wasn't interested in him that way. So it was definitely not shared. So I would have loved to see a lot more of that. I would have loved to see a lot more of Yebai in general. I would have loved to see Yebai interacting with everybody because he's such a joy to watch. Every time that he opened his mouth, I know that I'm going to enjoy what he's going to say. And I think he's one of those characters that is probably one of the most powerful characters in the whole show. And we actually never see him use his powers to his full potential. Like, I know that he has that fight with Wenger Sheen and Shuo, which I absolutely believe that he wasn't using his full powers. I believe that he was, stopping himself a little bit, because his powers were very, very impressive. And I think if he had wanted, he would have killed them very easily. But I think he was stalling because he was looking maybe for an excuse not to kill him, or that's what I like to think. And then we have the fight that he had with Wenger Sheen, where Wenger Sheen, dies, supposedly. In that one, obviously it was a fake fight, so they weren't really fighting. So he wasn't using his true powers, but his full ability. So I wish we had seen him using his full ability with someone. I think, why didn't Yebai stay for Gushian's wedding? I think that would have helped things a lot. If he had been there, I think maybe Xiao Wenin would have died anyway, because his death was so sudden that I don't think they would have been able to stop that. Although Yebai said that if somebody was recently dead, maybe he could keep them alive a little bit longer or something like that. But I think maybe he could have stopped Gushian's death, because he could have gone there and just dispatched this piece of shit guy that was Xiao Wenin's, sect leader. I don't even going to remember his name. I don't give a shit. But, Yebai had his own business to attend to. He had some things. I don't know how long he's going to be alive, because obviously he's no longer an immortal. His hair is falling off, and also he's turning white. So I think he's not, and he says like the immortal decay or something like that. So evidently he's dying, but I don't know at what rhythm. I don't know how quickly he's dying. So hopefully, I don't know. I like to think that at some point he went to the mountain where Shuo and Wenger Sheen live, just to annoy them, just to annoy Wenger Sheen the hell out of there. But I really enjoy his character. He's definitely one of my favorite ones. Next one, the next character that we have is who is this guy? Feng. I never remember his name. I never remember what he did. I never care about him. I'm going to put him in Go because every time that he appeared, it took me so long to recognize who he was and that he was actually the one that was, that Beauty Ghost was in love with. To me, it was a nothing character. I don't remember anything about him. I don't care anything about him. He's just there. He's just there existing to receive Beauty Ghost's love and to do nothing. I guess in the end, I don't know. I don't remember. Does he die because Beauty Ghost killed him? I think so. But she doesn't remember him, so I don't know how much it counts. So, I don't know. But definitely a character that I don't have a lot of strong feelings about. I just don't care. I just don't care for that goated bastard. Okay, so the next one is... Who is this one? Oh, who is this one? Feng, who is the wife of Rongshuan. And I'm going to put her in okay, I guess, because obviously she made some mistakes. Because she wanted to keep Rongshuan alive. She did that whole transplant thing of the heart, which ended up not being a good idea. But I don't think it was her fault. I think she was desperate, and then I think she gave the key to Wenger Sheen's parents to take her away. And she wasn't happy. And wasn't she killed by Rongshuan eventually? Because once Rongshuan wake up and he was obviously crazy, did he kill her? I'm not sure. But, I mean, the thing that I remember the most is when they were all together and Sheng Shen was making a speech, and then he throws the cup to the floor and she grabs him by the ear. I thought that was pretty cute. And also she's definitely very good looking. But I think she was okay. Again, maybe more like a victim of the circumstances more than anything else. Let's see who's next. I'm rushing because I don't want this to be 3 hours. So let's see if we can rush all of this in less than 15 minutes. So this video is not 3 hours again, because also my throat is killing me. So the next two are the two girls that Gushian saves from Lovelace, and their names are Yun Shai and Hong Liu. And I'm going to put them in a case, and I'm going to put her higher because those poor girls. And what I like about them, and not only about them, but also about other girls from the, from the Department of the Unfaithful, is how they show how different the experience was from them than it was from Wenger Sheen. Because obviously for Wenger Sheen, the Ghost Valley represented something that it was an absolute nightmare from him. And obviously his situation was a lot different. But I think it's interesting to see how for these girls and for other girls that also talk to Wenger Sheen a little bit later in the show, for them, living in the Ghost Valley is the best option, because the world that they are living is so bad towards women and so, violent towards women, that they know that, ironically, the safest place that they have is the Ghost Valley, where at least they are under protection of, the tragic comic ghost, who is, or Gushian or Wenger Sheen, who are, for what we see, fairly good people. While in the outside, they know that they won't be able to make it. So I think, again, we continue with the idea of, people who want to be completely good in the more traditional way, not surviving, and these girls making the decision of abandoning the world and going into a place, or not going to a place, or staying in a place where they know that they are going to be labeled, as criminals, and they're going to be labeled as bad people, but that is their best possibility of survival or of living well, because that is just sad. But I think it supports that idea a little bit, that of pure values, like pure morality, pure, goodness, all of things that we consider as more traditionally good and more traditional from the hero of the story are the things that in this world they are not going to work. So you need to work this world to your advantage. And I think that's what these girls are doing. They are looking for the place where they are safer, regardless of where it is. And definitely very different to the experience of Wenger Sheen has of the Ghost Valley. That for him, it definitely wasn't a safe place. But his position is very different to the position that these girls have. And obviously, in the outside world, his position is very different to hers, because he's a martial artist, he's a man, while these girls are just regular people. They are just girls, and obviously they are a lot more likely to suffer for that, and a lot more likely to be targets for that than Wenger Sheen ever is in the outside world, at least. So I don't know, that is an interesting comparison that you can make there with these two girls. The next one, now it's becoming too long. Chengling, love him. He's going right on top. Here we go. And put him next to Wenger Sheen. I love Chengling, and one of the things I love Chengling is how he not changes, but how comfortable he gets with Wenger Sheen and his little family, that he becomes a little bit more cheeky and a little bit more playful, like when he's talking with Wenger Sheen or Gushian or Cao Wenin, like the fact that in the same year that his whole family was massacred, that he's able to find a family that he feels comfortable with and that he loves, is just so sweet. And it's just so sad what happens to him, that in the end he lost his original family, he gains Shuo, Wenger Sheen, Gushian and all of them, and then he ended up losing everyone again. I know that Wenger Sheen and Shuo, they were still there, but they were up a mountain. So in the everyday life, they were definitely not there. And obviously he has other people now as well, but it's not the same. It's like him losing a second family. So, it's nice to see him in the end when he's a grown up and see him, him surrounded by disciples and him being happy. He deserves it. And I feel like, again, he's a character that at first he appears to be more like Cao Wenin, like a character of more pure values, like of, somebody who was in favor of, being honorable, of being honest, of all of those, values that are, they are good, but that he adapts eventually, maybe because of contact with Wenger Sheen and maybe because of contact with Shuo, he ends up learning to be a little bit more flexible and accepting, Wenger Sheen again, knowing who he was, finding out who he was and still accepting him, because maybe he understands why he is the way he is. So I think that's an interesting development for Chengling, and I absolutely love him. He really is adorable. And another thing that I appreciate in this show, that is going to sound strange, but for some reason I am very used to that, especially in American shows and in English shows, you usually have children that age, or, teenagers that age, that they look like they are in their 20s. And I appreciate that Chengling honestly looks like he's 14. You have no doubt when you look at him that he's a child, that he's 14. And I really appreciate that, because I think it helps a lot with his character. I think it helps a lot in how others view him. And, I think it makes just more realistic representation for teenagers rather than them looking like they are 25 or something like that. So I don't know. I really like Chengling. He was a great character, and the little family was just adorable. Let's see who's next. The next one is Chengling's dad, whose name is Shang Yusen, and I'm going to put him in. I mean, obviously he doesn't appear, but appear a lot, but I'm going to put him in okay, I guess, because he was really the one who realized about Shaoxing's plan. So I have to admire him because of that. I have to admire the fact that he knew what's going on. Obviously he suffered from it, but definitely, you know, at least he was aware of things at the end, and he the letter that he wrote at the end was actually very useful. So I don't know, and I feel like there's a reason why he's separated from the other brothers. Like he could see that there was something that wasn't quite right going on. And I don't know, he was Cheng Ling's father, and Cheng Ling is great, so you know, he did a good job there as well. Okay, the next, this piece of shit. Now, yes, that is the first photo that I found from him. I don't know why. I think, I don't know, that, you know, L'Oreal moment that he had there in that scene, really appealed to me. And I think you know where I'm going to put him. Actually, I was doubting whether to put him in instead. But no, I'm going to put him in no, because I remember the scene during the spring celebration, the one that he's with all of the epitaph of all of the rest. I remember that scene, so no, the fact that I have to see that already makes me put it in no. Like, fuck anything else that he do, but the fact that my eyes have to be subjected to that shit, no, he's there. And what can I say about him? He's definitely an ambitious character that always felt like he deserved more than he had. And what I find two things interesting about him. The first one is that I feel like, despite the fact of what I originally believed, I feel like deep down he actually did care for Scorpion King, at least a little bit. That scene where he's paralyzed and Scorpion King tells him that now he's going to be the leader of the whole world, and, you know, he's going to achieve everything that he failed to achieve, and he embraces him, and he actually smiles. He starts crying. He's like, okay. So maybe it's a moment that he come to peace with what happened to him and all of that. And I do believe that deep down he cares, but evidently, you know, not enough. He cares more for other things. Like, I don't remember exactly what was the situation, but he was talking about, I think, either Shuo or Wenger Sheen, and wondering about something that they have done that I think it was related to Cheng Ling that he couldn't understand. And what he couldn't understand was that what they were doing was because they loved Cheng Ling or something like that. Like, what they were doing wasn't to get power, it wasn't to do anything. That was my dog. Just yawning. Wasn't to get power, wasn't to get anything else. That what they were doing was because they just because out of love, and that is something that was completely just didn't enter the equation for him. So obviously, I don't think he even knew how to love or anything like that. But I do believe that he cared in a way for Scorpion King. Maybe not in the best of ways, but I think he did care. But he was also a massive piece of shit. So, what can I say? What can I say that he hasn't shown enough in the show? He was a true piece of shit. And definitely, I'm not a fan. So there he is, the last tier. Okay, so we have we have 4 minutes, and actually we have 3 minutes now up to the 3 hour mark. Well, according to this, because I have to edit a few minutes at the beginning, so I don't know how long this is going to be, but it is what it is. The last 3 characters, so this is going to be fast. I'm going through this fast because my throat is killing me. The next one is Wenger Sheen's dad. Wenger Sheen's dad is going to go right next to his wife. Where is his wife? Where did I put? Oh, here. I really like him. He was definitely more passive. Not more passive. He was, I think I have the feeling that in that relationship it was his wife that was a little bit more, proactive and a little bit more willing to, go to a fight and things like that. Well, he was a little bit more peaceful, if that makes sense. But I don't know. He seems like such a great guy. And definitely he was doing everything for the sake of a friend, and in the end all of this happened, and it's such a shitty situation that they didn't deserve. So there we go. I'll put him there because he seems like a pretty nice guy, and also a DILF, another one from that category that I didn't put. The next one, Shuo. Where am I going to put Shuo? Right here. I'm going to put Chengling in the middle. There we go. Just like a little family. I really like Shuo. I think that is obvious, the same way that I really like Wenger Sheen. I feel like Shuo probably goes through the greatest transformation in the show, in the sense that at the beginning he was definitely somebody who had lost all hope, he was on the death's door, not only because he was about to die, but because he wanted to die. Like, he didn't feel like he had anything to live for. And seeing him go from that to somebody who is a lot more hopeful, who starts to recover a lot of his faith in other people and his, faith also in himself after everything that happened, to find even the possibility of being able to forgive himself and going back to Four Seasons Manor with Wenger Sheen and Chengling. And I don't know, he definitely goes through a huge transformation, also in terms of his relationship with Wenger Sheen. Obviously, from the moment, I mean, to be fair, he starts calling Wenger Sheen his soulmate from a lot earlier than that, even earlier than the first Heroes Conference. But let's face it, the moment that he find out who he was, that was it. Like, he knew they were never going to separate. But even before that, he already considered him his soulmate. So obviously, also seeing the difference in how his relationship changed in terms of Wenger Sheen, also adorable. I love them. I love them seen together, co-parenting, Chengling. It's just great. I love Shuo. And again, I wish we had a different ending, but I'm not really mad about the ending. I feel like as long as they are up there in the mountain together and they can see people from time to time, I feel that's enough. I guess he can't drink anymore, but what you gonna do? I mean, they're already drinking too much, these two guys. The last one. Oh, and we are already in the 3 hours, but maybe the video is going to be a little bit. I don't think the video is going to be 3 hours, but we'll see. I'm going to rush through this. This guy, I like this guy. I'm going to put him in okay, I guess. His name is Xiao Shi, and he's a disciple from Gauchon, and he's somebody who appears from time to time. The moments that I like the most with him are the moments where he's teasing Xiao Wenin because of his relationship with Gushian, and the moment where he's, at the end, not at the end, but after the Heroes Conference, like, he's caught by one of the sects that are against Gauchon, and he's accused of, being part of that, whatever Gauchon was doing, and he was defending Gauchon. So he's obviously a guy who's very firm in his beliefs,
But he seems like a pretty nice, easygoing guy. And I also remember that he appeared when Xiao and Gushian met each other, that he was there, the one who went to solve the issue with those guys who were harassing the girl. So he was a guy that appeared fairly, he appeared quite a bit in the first part of the show, then he disappears and never appears again. I think maybe he went with Shen Shen to live in whatever Shen Shen lives. But I don't know, he seemed like a pretty decent guy. There was another guy who was from Gauchon sect, who was the guy who bullied Chengling. I forgot to put him, but he will be there in probably Thin Ice, really here, because he was a piece of shit, but I think also he was a teenager, so maybe he had time to grow. I don't know. And that was the last one. That was the last one, because I need this to not I need this to be a little bit smaller so I can see all of them at the same time. There we go. This is it. This is my final character ranking. I can't believe it's 3 hours again. Why so long? I'm now considering to upload this to YouTube on Halloween, because definitely this is a monstrosity. So I think it's a good way to celebrate Halloween by watching this. 3 hours of me just rambling. I think that's worse than any horror movie that you could ever find. So that's it. That is what I have with with the characters of Word of Honor. They were so many. But we did it. It's over. And, again, I'm going to put the link to the list to my tier that I created. So I don't know if you want to do your own list. You don't have to look for so many pictures, of characters that you just, God, such a lot. I feel like even if nobody watches this video, because for a lot of moments I consider not doing it. I said, oh, maybe I should just not do it, because if it's so difficult to find the pictures, maybe just do something else. But no, I continued, and I feel like even if nobody watches this video, I still have to do it. And I still have to upload it, because just for the sake of all of those pictures that I have to find. That's it. That's just the reason. Okay, guys, so I hope you enjoy this, I guess. And I'll be back next weekend, possibly with the concert of Word of Honor. I don't know if I'm going to do it in parts or I'm going to do it all together. I mean, considering I just spent 3 hours talking, I feel like I could do it all together, but we'll see what happens next week. So thank you for staying up to this point. For those who did, congratulations. I feel like should be given some kind of prize, but I just don't have any prize. So just live with the satisfaction that you did this. And I'll see you pretty soon with everything else. And for tomorrow, or not tomorrow, I mean, it is tomorrow from now, but I don't know when I'm posting this, if today or tomorrow. But for Halloween, I'm also going to be starting something new for my channel related with the Untamed and Modao Sushi. So stay tuned to see what it is, although it's something that I said that I was going to do, so I think maybe people are going to know what it is. But I don't know if it's a surprise, but I still don't want to say it. So I'll be back very soon, and thank you for watching, and that's it. Bye-bye.